Welcome to the Fantasy Audiobook. Pirates. I can transform into Marvel characters. Chapter 1. In front of him is the blue sea, quiet and remote, and above his head is the blue sky, deep and magnificent, where the sea and the sky are the same color, and there is no end in sight. The sea breeze passed through the left and right sides of his body, slightly raising the black hair that hung on his cheeks. His long hair was naturally draped over his back as if it had been soaked in black ink. He has a pair of piercing obsidian-like eyes, and his eyes are crystal clear. When you stare at him, it's like looking at the most silent lake in the world again, which makes people feel refreshed. He closed his eyes slightly, enjoying the caress of the sea breeze and the faint smell of sea salt, but after a while, his brows were slightly wrinkled. He knew that this peaceful and comfortable life was only short-lived and would soon be broken. His name is Ling Fan, and he is not from this world. It took him a month to adapt to his new identity as much as possible, the legacy of a historian, and the island he was on was O'Hara. This is actually a small island that is not very eye-catching, but it has the world's largest library, Tree of Omniscience, and has gathered the world's best archaeologists and first-class archaeological teams. Yes, Ling Fan traveled to the world of One Piece, and O'Hara is the famous archaeological Holy Land in Shihai, and also the hometown of Nicole Robin. As a fan of the One Piece anime in his previous life, Ling Fan naturally knew that O'Hara's demise was already counting down, because just 3 days ago, a giant had drifted to the coast. Ling Fan, guess who I am? Just as Ling Fan was thinking about the upcoming headache future, a pair of cold pink hands covered Ling Fan's eyes, and Ling Fan could still smell the faint fragrance of flowers in these little hands. Robin, do you still need to guess? Who else is there? Ling Fan also said with a smile, grabbed her cute pink hand, put it down, and turned his head to look at the person coming. The cute girl in front of him was Robin. At this time, Robin was the same age as Ling Fan, both 8 years old. Their families were similar. Robin's mother never came back after going to sea when he was young. As for Ling Fan, he didn't even know who his parents were. Oh Ling Fan, let go of my hand. Robin's pink face is slightly flushed, looking very hot. Ling Fan didn't let go, but teased and said, "Little Robin, I didn't expect you to be shy at such a young age." Robin, blushed and said solemnly, "Ling Fan, let's go find the giant today." Robin changed the subject. "Giant Zoro?" Ling Fan asked. Robin nodded, and it was obvious that she liked chatting with giants. However, what Ling Fan was worried about struck again. As a traverser, he knew that Zoro was not an ordinary giant. Zoro's real identity is Vice Admiral of the Navy headquarters, and his mission on this trip is to lead the Navy to capture Robin's mother Alvia and other scholars and archaeologists. However, because he talked with Robin's mother later, Zoro changed his mind and made the decision to save Alvia, which led to him being hunted down by the Navy. Zoro was attacked by the Navy and was seriously injured. Not long after Zero Fan crossed, he drifted to O'Hara Island. By chance, he was rescued by Robin, and Ling Fan and Robin naturally helped to treat Zoro. "Let's go." Robin showed an innocent smile, and Ling Fan immediately took Robin's hand and trot all the way to the coast of Zoro. Almost no one came here, so a giant like Zoro would not be discovered. After seeing the two of them, Zoro, who was very downcast in a cowboy hat, immediately let out a strange laugh, "Trey-hee-hee-hee. Ling Fan boy, Miss Robin, are you coming to chat with me again today? Hee. Hey, your guy's smile is really ugly." Ling Fan also scolded with a smile. "Trey-hee-hee, it doesn't matter if it sounds bad, even if you are sad, you should laugh, so that life will be better," Zoro said optimistically. Careful Robin saw the raft floating on the sea and immediately asked, "Your raft has been made. Are you leaving, Zoro?" Robin asked a little impatiently. Ling Fan knew that it was not easy for Robin to meet a friend, and Zoro's straightforward character would not displease Ling Fan, so Ling Fan immediately winked at Zoro. "Oh, what are you doing? Robin, don't make a sad expression. By the way, I want to make another flag. I'm going to stay here for a while." Zoro understood what Ling Fan meant. Although it was only a few days of getting along, the three of them had established a deep friendship. Saoluo also liked getting along with the two of them. Yushi found a reason to continue to accompany Robin and Ling Fan. At this time, Zoro started to chat casually with Robin and Ling Fan while making the flag. It stands to reason that this should be another day of comfort, but the thing Ling Fan worried about finally came. In the distance, a huge ship was rapidly approaching O'Hara from the sea. Then what is that? Robin stretched out her small hand and pointed to the sea. She had never seen such a large ship before, so she asked immediately. This is the ship of the world government. At this time, Ling Fan has clearly seen the flag representing the world government fluttering in the wind. What? That is the ship of the world government. How is that possible? How can there be a ship of the world government here? Soro was also taken aback. Soro had a bad premonition and immediately asked, Robin, Ling Fan, what is this place? O'Hara. When Robin said the place name, Soro was completely shocked. My God. Oh, O'Hara. Why? How could I drift to O'Hara? Soro looked a little bit broken. Shouldn't it be? Soro then asked again. Robin, what is your mother's name? Alvia. It's Nicole Alvia. Robin said his mother's name clearly and completely. Salo was so shocked that he completely doubted his life. He couldn't even control his body and fell backwards. His huge body fell directly on the ground, making a loud boom, and dust was raised high. Then Soro said very seriously, Robin. Zero Fan. Now is not the time to dawdle. You run away. I think after the people from the world government come, the Navy warships are already on their way. They came this time to destroy the entire O'Hara. This is impossible. Isn't the Navy supposed to protect us? Robin also looked completely unbelievable. We just did 100 years of research on the blank, and there is nothing that threatens the Navy. We just did the research that scholars should do. Robin also looked like he couldn't believe it. It is because of this that the Navy and the world government want to completely destroy O'Hara. They will wipe out all the scholars on the island. You must not tell others that you are a scholar. Soro said. Liar. You're talking nonsense. Robin also had an expression of disbelief. What Robin Soro said is true. The justice that the Navy abides by is much narrower than you understand. For the scholars who have studied blanks for 100 years, Ling Fan, who will never show mercy, also said seriously. Ling Fan, who is a time traveler, naturally knows that in the world of One Piece, the world government and the Navy do not play a glorious image. That's right. What I said is true. I won't lie to you. If you don't believe me, you can go back to the town immediately to see if there is anything unusual. Robin, maybe your mother has already returned. Soro said very seriously. Really, Mom? Robin's heart was filled with longing for his mother immediately, and then he ran with all his strength towards the Tree of Omniscience on O'Hara Island. Ling Fan nodded to Soro, and immediately followed Robin closely. At this time, Ling Fan did not notice the white watch on his wrist, which was slowly releasing light outward. He didn't even notice that there was a line written on the watch. The system has restarted. However, at this time, the world government's ship had already landed at O'Hara's port, and the flag representing the world government was fluttering in the wind. A group of men in black suits, after scanning the entire O'Hara, showed malicious expressions. Tell headquarters we're here. Hurry up. One after another. It's really troublesome, but this job will get me promoted, right? Hey, you go and control all the scholars here. The leader of the man in black issued an order, and he was the person in charge of this operation, Chief Spandine. Immediately afterwards, the men in black began to arrest scholars, searching for suspicious people everywhere. My lord, we are just ordinary businessmen. I'm not a scholar. I'm not. I'm just an ordinary person. I have nothing to do with these scholars. They're all in the library. As the saying goes, if a person knows how warm the drinking water is, when it comes to life and death, these residents of O'Hara also betrayed the scholars and archaeologists. In that case, let's go to the library. Spandane waved his hand, and the man in black walked towards the library. At this time, Robin was also running towards the position of the Tree of Omniscience with all his strength. As a traverser, Ling Fan naturally knew that O'Hara's tragedy was almost inevitable. Except for Robin, everyone on O'Hara Island will be killed by the Navy. Even if they get on the refuge ship, they will be destroyed by the artillery shells of the current Navy headquarters Admiral Sakaski. No, I have to do something. Even if I can't stop this tragedy, even if I can't save all the scholars, I have to save Soro and Robin. Ling Fan travels to this world, and the people closest to him are Robin and Soro. He also hopes that the peaceful days will continue, but the reality is like a bomb with its fuse lit, and it is about to shatter everything close at hand. A wave of courage and obsession immediately burst out from Ling Fan's heart. Even if it's for myself. I can't die so uselessly. Save myself, save Robin. Ling Fan wants to change everything he wants to change. Robin, I'll find a way to slow down those scoundrels from the world government. Go to the library and find the curator. Ling Fan finally made a decision. Although Robin was worried about Ling Fan's safety, his eyes turned red when he saw Ling Fan's resolute eyes. Then he nodded and ran towards the tree of omniscience immediately. But Ling Fan started to have thoughts in his heart. God, don't be so unfair. What about the welfare of the time traveler? What kind of system does the time traveler of other people's family have? However, no voice responded to Ling Fan, and the CP9 members in black suits walked towards Ling Fan instead, getting closer and closer. Ling Fan's heart tightened, he took a step back, and prayed again. What kind of lottery system or acting system is fine? It's really not good, even if you give me the strongest bloodline. Ling Fan suddenly remembered that he had read a book called Hokage, the strongest bloodline before, in which the protagonist had the bloodline of Otsutsuki. Even if Uchiha Madara and Kagaya were in front of him, they couldn't make any waves. If you can give him a blood system in Pirate World, then Zero Van Min can be the king. Give me 50 cents too. 10,000 muddy horses galloped past Ling Fan's heart, because no matter how sincerely Ling Fan prayed, he still didn't find any response. Hey, you kid, what are you doing sneakily? A man in black had already raised his rifle and pointed it at Ling Fan. It may be that he has completely forgotten about death. Ling Fan is not afraid at all. He knows that the men in black in front of him are understanding subordinates. They are not ordinary people of the world government, but CP9, relying on themselves, they will not be their opponents at all. Ling Fan didn't wait for the system, but he didn't lose his courage in his heart. If you lose, you don't lose. For dignity, for Robin, I, Ling Fan, have no fear. Ling Fan made up his mind that even if he died, he would die with dignity. Just at this time, the watch on Ling Fan's wrist began to emit a stronger light, which quickly attracted Ling Fan's attention. This is this. Ling Fan was taken aback, he had never seen such a strange thing. What the hell is this watch? Ever since Ling Fan traveled through, this watch has been in a black screen state, and Ling Fan doesn't know what it is for, but now I don't know why it emits such a strong light. What was in front of him overlapped with what was in his memory. I suddenly remembered, isn't this the divine plan in Digimon? However, the dazzling light also caught the attention of the CP9 in front of him. Brat, what is that thing in your hand? Hand it over to me. The man in black in front of him was very curious about what was on Ling Fan's wrist, and he was afraid it might be a weapon. I won't give it to you. Ling Fan didn't have the slightest affection for these people, and then directly turned back. HMPH, you must have something to do with scholars. Control him. After the man in black finished speaking, several men in black beside him lifted Ling Fan up. Since you don't want to give it to us, we have no choice but to take it by force, said the man in black. I won't be afraid of you. Ling Fan is also a person who has experienced the previous life. At this moment, he has no fear, and the watch on his hand immediately shone with a more eye-catching light at this moment. Pure white light enveloped everything, and the range and intensity of the light were exaggerated, covering the entire O'Hara Island in an instant. Suddenly, a voice came from Ling Fan's ear. The strong positive energy of the host has been detected. The strongest transformation system in the heavens and the world is activated. Next, enter the novice tutorial mode. Please ask the host to shout to activate the super transformation form. Then transform into a powerful character to deal with the immediate crisis. Ling Fan was taken aback and immediately responded, "This is my golden finger. The strongest transformation system in the heavens and myriad worlds. It sounds so good. I don't know what this move can make me into." Ling Fan was very interested. The long-awaited golden finger finally arrived. Ling Fan naturally wanted to study it. However, Ling Fan soon discovered that his body could not move at all, and everything around him seemed to be frozen. The whole world turned gray, and only his throat could make a sound. The host, please shout to activate the super transformation form. Transform into a powerful character and deal with the immediate crisis. The system repeated again. Ling Fan now understood that this is the system's mandatory novice teaching. Just like playing a new game, the game itself will freeze everything, guide the novice step by step, let the novice get familiar with the simplest operation of the system, and the player cannot skip it. Since that's the case, then I have to do it too. The crisis in front of him was very urgent, and Ling Fan couldn't help but stop shouting. Ling Fan made up his mind, showed firm eyes and shouted loudly, "Start the super transformation form." In his heart, he complained, "If I'm not wrong, this sentence is the golden sentence when Kabuto transforms in iron armor little treasure." Sang 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 sang. 5 dazzling and brilliant lights surrounded Ling Fan's entire body, and the 5 lights spread to Ling Fan's limbs and head respectively. Immediately afterwards, Ling Fan's body began to undergo exaggerated changes, and his short body instantly became extremely tall. And his white and tender skin also turned darker, turning into the skin of an adult man. All kinds of muscles on Ling Fan's body immediately burst out, and his figure became a perfect man's figure. In addition, Ling Fan's clothes also changed. The molecular structure of the original clothes changed in an instant, turning into a blue battle leather armor. Ling Fan also had a white star on his chest, a blue hood on his head, the hood exposed nose, eyes and mouth, and an A on his forehead representing Berry Country going to fight. These are not the most critical. The most important thing is that Ling Fan has an extra shield in his hand. The center of the entire shield is also a white 5-pointed star, and the surroundings of the shield are composed of red representing courage, white representing truth, and blue representing justice. Ling Fan is all too familiar with this thing. Captain America's shield. It is made of indestructible original Edmund metal. Could it be that I have transformed into Captain America? Ling Fan then took a closer look at himself, and he found that his height and weight were very similar to Captain America in the Marvel movie. The only difference was that his face was still his own. And then the system sound came again. Host, the transformation system has been bound to the Marvel movie universe system. Your next transformation journey will randomly transform into different Marvel characters. Now, you have all the abilities of Captain America. Try to kill the enemy in front of you. After the sound of the system appeared, the surrounding gray screen turned into color again, and the man in black was also opening Nuoda's eyes at this time, and the one wearing sunglasses also took off his sunglasses. They exclaimed, "Ah, my mother, it was a kid here just now, isn't that right? Why did you become an adult now?" The man in black who grabbed Ling Fan was also frightened immediately, sat on the ground, and moved back slowly. "Did you see a ghost? Shoot, shoot, this guy might be a monster." The man in black was frightened into a daze, and immediately gave the order to attack. Bang bang bang, countless bullets were shot at Ling Fan, and the surrounding townspeople closed their eyes in fear. They thought that Ling Fan's body would be smashed into a sieve immediately. However, Ling Fan at this time is no longer Ling Fan just now, his whole body is full of explosive power. Response and speed are far beyond ordinary humans. I hide. Ling Fan controlled his body as if he had learned to be domineering, with an unusually relaxed expression, but his body was as fast as lightning. He dodged all the bullets perfectly. In fact, even if Ling Fan doesn't hide, nothing will happen if he gets hit by a bullet. The power of the rifle of the One Piece World Navy is not much different from that of World War II. It just scratches the itch when it hits Captain America. How could this be? Impossible. It was able to avoid our bullets. What a monster. Quick, report quickly, Chief Spandine. The people in black gasped, seeing the impossible but happening in front of them. They almost collapsed to the ground. The man in black from the world government immediately told their chief Spandine about this unimaginable incident. After hearing this, Spandine cursed, "Idiots. You are a bunch of cowards. You are wasting my time. How could such a strange thing happen? Became an adult, dodging bullets again. This kind of thing is easy to explain. This guy is a person with abilities. If so, use the fastest way to deal with him, and then catch those scholars. As for me, hide first." Spandane also fled in desperation immediately. "This guy, he's really as despicable and fearful of death as the anime," said Ling Fan, who turned into Captain America. Then the two men in black rushed towards Ling Fan immediately. Shave. The man in black disappeared instantly, and kicked Ling Fan. HMPH. Ling Fan opened his arms with disdain, and his left and right hands grabbed the necks of the two CP9 members with great precision, locking them firmly like pliers. How can a dog from the world government who hasn't even learned the 6 styles be my opponent? Ling Fan's eyes were full of vengeance. It's impossible. Who the hell are you? Ordinary people can't react at all. Shave is 6 styles. Move at high speed. The two men in black also looked at Ling Fan with horrified eyes, and Ling Fan snorted coldly, a mere Navy type. Will it be my opponent of Captain America? I have already seen through your trajectories. In my eyes, your speed is as fast as a turtle. What? Just under the horror of the two men in black, Ling Fan smashed the two men in black to the ground, boom. After a loud noise, 2 big holes were smashed into the ground. Captain America is the first superhero in Marvel movies. He participated in the Super Soldier Project of Berry Country. Afterwards, his strength, speed, reaction, endurance, defense, intelligence and many other physical abilities are far beyond ordinary people. Even bullets can be dodged, let alone the 6 forms. When Ling Fan hit them like this, the two men in black were already dying, and Spanda was even more frightened when he saw this. I'm going. I killed them instantly with one move. My 2 most powerful subordinates. This is worth it. Spandane immediately said with all his strength, everyone, stop this guy who looks like a drama. And Spandane himself immediately stepped forward with all his strength, and ran towards the ship as if flying. The guy who plays the drama. Ling Fan narrowed his eyes. In front of me, you still dare to say anything? Run. Can you run away? Ling Fan took off the shield on his back, and then threw it straight with one hand, and the shield hit Spandine like flying. Boom. Captain America's shield directly knocked the weak Spandine into the air. I don't know if it was a coincidence, but Spandine's head hit the world government's ship with a bang. The scene looked very funny. But at this moment, no one laughed. What Ling Fan showed shocked everyone in CP9. Sir Spandine. The CP9 members in black clothes went to rescue Spandine in one wave, and immediately surrounded Ling Fan in one wave, raising their rifles. Launch. Kill him. Countless bullets shot at Ling Fan, but Ling Fan was full of disdain at the moment, and immediately grabbed the handle of the vibrating gold shield in his hand, completely blocking his upper body. Bang bang bang. Tink jingle bell. Just like that, the bullet hit the shield, bursting out countless flames and making a crisp sound, but it didn't cause any impact upon closer inspection. Impossible. There is nothing wrong with the shield. What kind of shield is that? How can it be so hard? It must be a capable person. We will use Halu stone bullets this time. It will definitely shoot him into a hornet's nest. That's right. Aim him. Start shooting. The man in black changed the bullets, and then shot Ling Fan with countless bullets. At this moment, Ling Fan didn't use his shield to resist, but put away his own shield, and the corners of his mouth raised slightly. What is this for? The enemies were completely unaware of Ling Fan's purpose, but they still took the lead in shooting. Boom, boom, boom. Ling Fan actually danced directly in the dense ballistic trajectory. While dancing, he kept waving his palms. Impossible. This guy actually catches bullets with his bare hands. Even if it's a capable person. It's impossible to catch Halushi's bullet. My god, it's impossible. Keep shooting. It's not true. Ling Fan's super speed and reflexes make him invulnerable to harm at all. Halushi is very precious, and Halushi's bullets are even rarer. Even CP9 didn't bring many. After shooting for a while, they ran out of bullets. At this time, Ling Fan showed a scene that shocked them even more. Ling Fan spread out his palm. Countless bullets reflected light in the sun, it was obvious. All bullets. They were all caught by Zero Fan. It seems that you are out of bullets, so I'll do my best and return the bullets to you. Ling Fan showed a smirk. Oh my god, is this still human, able to catch bullets with bare hands? The people in black had already begun to doubt life, and then the corners of Ling Fan's mouth rose slightly, and the Halushi bullet in his hand was thrown out with a whoosh. Because of Captain America's super strength, the bullets thrown out also had a very strong lethality, boom. The bullets instantly landed on the bodies of countless men in black around them, completely piercing their bodies. Sir, help, this man is too powerful. We are no match at all. The people in black were beaten back by Ling Fan's transformed US team. They were all extremely embarrassed and had lost their confidence in fighting against Ling Fan. It seems that O'Hara not only studied the past history, he also has connections with pirates. It's not my fault. O'Hara, destroy. Spandane had just been rescued by his subordinates, and the first thing he did was to press the button of the golden phone bug in his hand. Although Ling Fan couldn't stop the demon slaughter order. But, Ling Fan, who has transformed into a superhero, will never be caught without a fight. Boom! A huge shell suddenly shot out from the sea in the distance, and the target was the Tree of Omniscience. No, there are not only Robin there, but also the innocent O'Hara scholar. Ling Fan's heart burst out with a lot of blood in an instant, and his strength and speed reached their peak at this moment. Ling Fan's speed completely surpassed human cognition. He rushed towards the direction of the shell, like a cheetah. What is this guy going to do? Spandane also opened his mouth wide. Could it be possible? Is this guy going to stop that shell? Are you kidding me? Oh my god. Between Ling Fan's feet kicked hard like this. Boom. The ground sank a lot due to being trampled on. Immediately afterwards, Ling Fan's body jumped up with a swish. Everything around him moved away from Ling Fan, and Ling Fan was also extremely close to the shell. Shield. Ling Fan threw out the shield in his hand, and hit the cannonball with precision. Immediately afterwards, the huge shell was easily divided into two. Spandane immediately ordered, "Everyone, turn the ship around. The rest will be handed over to the Navy. Under the order to kill the demons, they can't survive. Let's retreat." Ling Fan solved a cannonball so easily, thus avoiding the destruction of O'Hara's Tree of Omniscience. The shield of Captain America in his hand is the indestructible original Edelman metal. It was made by Iron Man's father and strengthened by Iron Man himself. It is just a trivial matter to split the shell into two. Ling Fan, who was in the air, tightly grasped the spinning shield, tried to protect it in front of himself, and then fell from the air. Oh, Ling Fan's body landed on the ground in a perfect posture, but his body was only slightly covered with dust. The demon-slaying order has been activated. The main force of the Navy will gather soon. It seems that it will be a tough battle. Ling Fan clenched his fists, feeling the energy of transforming into Captain America. At this moment, Ling Fan's watch made a sound again. Hello host, next is the novice task description. After completing the big event, you will have the opportunity to transform into a new superhero. Big event? Ling Fan asked. The divine plan then begins with specific mission statements. The next step is to start the novice mission. Since Spandane, the chief of CP9, has launched the demon-slaying order, O'Hara will face the key to life and death. This will be a far-reaching event, and it will play an important role in the direction of this world. The mission of the host is to change the ending of O'Hara's destruction. Use Captain America's ability to resist the Navy and the world government. The task that changes the event that can affect the future development is called a big event task. After the big event is completed, the power of the divine plan will definitely be upgraded. You will have a new chance to transform into a superhero, and who you become will be random. After a systematic explanation, Ling Fan understands, that is to say, if he wants to keep changing the development trajectory of history, he will randomly have different superheroes after completing a big task. The novice's explanation is over. Please pay attention to the host. Every time the form changes, it will intelligently choose whether to continue to maintain the change form according to the host's needs. The voice of the divine plan completely disappeared, and everything around him regained its color, and Ling Fan's body can move freely. However, since CP9 and others have been driven away, the form of Captain America is temporarily useless, and finally Ling Fan changed back to his original form. Due to the shell attack, the entire O'Hara Island was in disarray at this time. A large number of islanders packed their bags and landed on the refuge ship. I have to find Robin and Robin's mother quickly. If Ling Fan wanted to complete the big event, he naturally had to start by rescuing Robin. However, before Ling Fan rushed back to the Tree of Omniscience to look for Robin, a woman with gray hair who looked very similar to Robin had already taken out a shotgun and rushed out of the library. Huh, why is there no one? The guys from the world government, haven't they already discovered this place? Why is it gone now? Has anyone helped us? Seeing this, Ling Fan immediately shouted, Aunt Alvia. The CP9 group has been beaten away by my friends. O'Hara is safe for now. Alvia was startled when she heard someone calling her name. She was very vigilant at first, and was about to raise the shotgun in her hand and aim at the source of the sound. But after hearing it was a child's voice, Olvia gave up this approach. "You kid, who are you? How do you know my name? Who is your friend?" Olvia also asked, very puzzled. "My name is Ling Fan. I'm Robin's friend. Soro told us your name. I know that Soro saved you, and I also know about CP9. My friend has already driven them away," Ling Fan said. "What? Why is Soro here? Who is your friend?" "They were able to drive away CP9. They are masters of Navy 6. Don't joke with me, this is O'Hara's life and death. Since he is Robin's friend, then protect Robin and run away," Olvia said resolutely. Ling Fan shook his head and said, "Escape. It's too late. CP9 Chief Spandine has already activated the demon-slaying order, and now the Navy warships have surrounded O'Hara. Even the refuge ships are not safe. They will be destroyed by Navy warships at any time." This Olvia clenched her fist tightly, and cursed unwillingly, "Navy. What is going on? Not only to destroy O'Hara. Do you want to kill innocent islanders?" Olvia's expression was a little angry and a little sad. She was naturally angry because of the actions of the Navy and the world government, and sad because of O'Hara Island and her child Robin. At this time, many of the Navy's heaviest warships have begun to appear on the sea, and a large number of naval soldiers are ready to go on the warships. The Demon Slaughter Order is a brutal attack that burns everything, and will have more than 10 warships and 5 lieutenant generals. And the elite combat power of the Navy. Of course, the most important significance of the Demon Slaughter Order is that it represents the incompatible attitude between the Navy and this faction. It sounds like there is no hope for O'Hara. But Ling Fan did not lose confidence. He has a transformation system. "Aunt Olvia, we can't give up yet." Ling Fan immediately patted Olvia and said, "Soro can protect your mother and daughter, and my friend can work with me to divert the Navy's attention. O'Hara may still survive." Olivia shook her head and said, "Stop joking. That's a demon-slaying order. No matter how powerful your friend is, he can't escape the ruthless artillery fire." Immediately afterwards, the warships in the distance were also ready. It was obvious that they were already preparing to destroy O'Hara. At this time, there was a slight vibration on the ground, and a huge figure came to Ling Fan and Olvia. "Zero Fan Boy. Olvia, quick, I'll protect you." Soro directly used his body to block in front of the two. Boom, boom, boom. The artillery shells on the warship immediately fired at the edge of O'Hara, temporarily sending out a wave of tentative attacks. Of course, it is possible that the Navy noticed Soro, and Lieutenant General Kuzan ordered his men to show mercy. Soro used his giant body to block this round of shell attacks for them, but O'Hara was severely injured, and the Tree of Omniscience on O'Hara Island had already been ignited by the artillery fire. "No, if this continues, we will be killed sooner or later. O'Hara will also be destroyed sooner or later. No, something must be done. You can't be passively beaten." At this moment, Ling Fan once again made up his mind to wake up. Taking advantage of the two facing the shells, Ling Fan put his wrist to his mouth and shouted, "Activate the super transformation form." 5 dazzling rays of light immediately enveloped Ling Fan. At this time, Ling Fan's body changed again. His height grew from less than 1 meter to nearly 1.9 meters. The whole image has also completely changed into the appearance of Captain America. He is majestic and has a shield in his hand. "Hey, Soro, please do me a favor," Captain America said directly. "You are." Soro and Olvia were taken aback. Ling Fan disappeared, and there was an extra character like a theater actor for no reason, which was very weird. "What is this? Could it be the Navy? No, could it be that you are the boy's friend just now? Repelled the existence of CP9. Who are you, please?" Olivia and Soro also asked in surprise. "Everyone calls me Captain America." Captain America. Soro was a former lieutenant general of the Navy headquarters, but he had never heard such a name before, thinking that maybe it was what it was. "By the way, Soro, please do me a favor. Just throw me on the opposite warship," Ling Fan said. "What, are you serious or joking?" Soro asked. Olvia was also quite surprised, thinking that Captain America was joking. "Look me in the eyes, I, Captain America, never joke. I mean it. There is no time to waste, trust me. Soro, trust me." Alvia. Ling Fan also instantly conquered Soro and Alvia with his confident and righteous eyes. Understood. Soro finally lifted Captain America Ling Fan up. Solo, are you sure you want to do this? As a scholar, Alvia felt that doing so was a bit imprecise. I don't know why, but I trust the whole guy. Although I don't know what he's going to do, but trust him. Soro then threw Ling Fan up, and finally used all his strength to throw him up, just turning around like this, and finally Soro let go of his hand. Phew! Captain America's body immediately flew into the air, and the huge strength of the giants brought the Navy warship, which was originally very far away, within easy reach. Immediately afterwards, Ling Fan landed on the deck of the warship in a very handsome posture, with fierce eyes in his eyes and shouted, "I am Captain America. I will not let you destroy O'Hara." Ha ha, what kind of weird guy are you? Like a stage actor. Could it be that you have watched too many theater performances? The soldiers who put on the suit also laughed. The image of Captain America made the Navy laugh. HMPH. Soon I will make you laugh. Ling Fan also made a fighting posture. As soon as the expert made a move, he knew if there was one. The Rear Admiral immediately had a bad feeling, and then shouted, "Shoot me." The Marines all took out their rifles and started shooting at Ling Fan. Ling Fan suddenly rushed towards the Marine soldiers, dodging the bullets very nimbly and quickly. Ling Fan's reaction speed far exceeds the limit of human beings. While he didn't receive any damage, he also pulled out the shield behind him and threw it out with all his strength. Phew! The shield immediately smashed through, knocking nearly 100 naval soldiers to the ground in an instant. Captain America is like a wolf, like a flock of sheep, beating the sailors fiercely. Boom! Ling Fan punched out. The power of that punch was so terrifying that a dozen Marine soldiers could not resist it with all their strength. Boom! Ling Fan kicked out. The power of that kick was even more powerful than a fist, and the warship was kicked out of billowing smoke. Whoosh! Ling Fan took advantage of the situation and threw out the shield in his hand. The indestructible shield pierced through the air and smashed through the warship, causing the warship to bang, not only emitting thick smoke but also burning flames. In less than 3 minutes, Ling Fan had already destroyed a warship. Looking at this, the Rear Admiral on the warship was also stunned, and even forgot that he was the officer on the warship. My God, is this guy a monster? This power, it's comparable to giants. Help, this guy is a master. Mom, I'm going home. The entire warship was destroyed because of Zero Fan's strength. Don't forget that Captain America is a World War II hero. The core position and weakest point of all warships are well understood. Although there is still some distance from O'Hara Island, because Ling Fan's suppression of the Navy was too exaggerated, the entire warship burst into flames, and Soro and Alvia were already fixed in place. They have never seen such a close-up, superhero-themed big movie. Boy, Ling Fan's friend is really strong. He destroyed a warship in less than 3 minutes. This guy is really impressive. Captain America, right, I am a Rear Admiral of the Navy. How dare you fight me? Said a Rear Admiral in the uniform of an admiral. The U.S. team. Ling Fan raised his mouth slightly, and hooked his hands at the Rear Admiral. The meaning of provocation was self-evident. HMPH. How dare you make my warship look like this? I will make your death ugly. The Rear Admiral then rushed towards Ling Fan. The Rear Admiral of the Navy headquarters in front of him, as a general, is naturally far superior to ordinary naval soldiers. Shave. The Rear Admiral used the shaving method among the 6 styles, and his body speed doubled instantly, and he appeared in front of Ling Fan in an instant. Finger gun. After transforming into Captain America, his intelligence is also superior, otherwise the US team would not be able to become the spiritual leader of the Avengers. Use the shaving to instantly close the distance, and then use the finger gun, trying to kill me in seconds. Normal people really can't react. But this move has no effect on me, who surpasses the limit of the human body. Ling Fan frowned slightly and gave a smirk. The moment the finger gun was about to touch his body, Ling Fan quickly blocked the shield in his hand in front of him. There was only a loud boom, followed by a loud cry of "Ah! Wow! Pain! Pain!" The Rear Admiral rolled his eyes in pain. As the saying goes, the 10 fingers connect to the heart. The Admiral almost died of pain. Want to pierce my body with a finger? I'll let you lose 1 finger. It stands to reason that the 6-style finger gun is infinitely powerful, and can easily penetrate the body of any ordinary person who cannot be armed or iron. As for the shield, it is of course not a problem. But the captain's shield is indestructible. It can be said to be the strongest shield. The rear admiral is naively planning to use the finger gun to attack Ling Fan, and in the end he will suffer the consequences. Is there any way to attack? No. Then it's my turn. Ling Fan threw the shield in his hand directly, but the rear admiral learned smart this time and used his body skills to dodge it. Iron block. The rear admiral's whole body became extremely hard, and then Ling Fan also punched him. Boom. Ling Fan's punch was powerful enough, although the Major General was beaten back a little, but it didn't really hurt the Major General. Ha 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 ha. How about it? No matter how strong you are, you can't break through my iron block. Ordinary people, no matter how strong they are, will not be the opponent of the 6-style powerhouse. The rear admiral smiled proudly. Ling Fan then said in admiration, "It's really amazing. Hey, just grab it. I think you should know that you have no way to beat me." The rear admiral said proudly. Ling Fan suddenly laughed. "What are you laughing at?" asked the rear admiral. "I laugh at you, stupid." After Ling Fan finished speaking, the shield in his hand had returned like a boomerang. The rear admiral didn't make any preparations, so he was hit on the back of the head with a boom, and then fell to the ground, unable to get up again. The entire naval warship was about to explode. Ling Fan immediately ran to the control room and found that the warship could still be manipulated. Then he steered the warship towards another nearest warship. And Ling Fan himself got into the water. The swimming skills of the US team are naturally quite good, and it is not enough to stop a warship. In order to smash the demon-slaying order, Ling Fan has to face more enemies. Firefighting. Firefighting. Come on. What's going on? Why did this warship run straight towards us? Master Lieutenant General, see what to do. The warship controlled by Ling Fan rammed straight into another warship, and the commander of this warship happened to be the Lieutenant General of the Navy headquarters. The Lieutenant Admiral wore a Navy hat on his head and a cigar dangling from his mouth. His beard grew from his ears and covered his entire chin. He was the Lieutenant General Huo Shaoshan of the Navy headquarters. "Can you speed up? Dodge the collision of the warship?" Huo Shaoshan asked. "No, the speed of the destroyed warship is quite fast, we have no way to avoid it." The soldiers also said with some fear. "If that's the case, let's fire. We've got rid of this warship. Absolutely don't let it cause any damage to us." Lieutenant General Huo Shaoshan gave the order decisively. And then, before the cannon was fired, Lieutenant General Huo Shaoshan heard a boom. Not good. Not good. Hustle and panic. How decent. What happened? Lieutenant General Huo Shaoshan suddenly had some bad premonitions. "Our main gun was torn off abruptly." The soldiers replied. What did you say? Was it ripped off? Who did it?" Lieutenant General Huo Shaoshan also immediately walked out of the command cabin in a rage. "I did it." Ling Fan's voice came, and then he directly swung the main gun of the warship in his hand. "How is it possible? Can you swing such a huge cannon so easily?" Huo Shaoshan immediately drew out his samurai sword, and then slashed at it. As the Lieutenant General of the Navy headquarters, Huo Shaoshan is more powerful than the Major General. Although his swordsmanship cannot be said to be second to none in the Navy, he is still considered a master. Pulling out the samurai sword, the huge cannon was split in two in an instant. "Amazing," Ling Fan praised, and then fought with Huo Shaoshan. "Who are you?" Huo Shaoshan asked with a cigar in his mouth. I am the hero of justice. Captain America." Ling Fan patted his chest, making Huo Shaoshan very dull. "The righteous Captain America. Who is this?" Huo Shaoshan rubbed his head. In the vast sea, he had never heard of this name. "It doesn't matter, it seems that you are an unknown person. However, since you attacked the Navy warship, this is a provocation to the Navy. I will not let you go. I will punish you on the spot now." Lieutenant General Huo Shaoshan also drew out his samurai sword and rushed towards Ling Fan. Huo Shaoshan once again used his juhei to slash at Ling Fan, but Ling Fan didn't retreat at all, but rushed forward bravely. At the same time, Ling Fan took out his shield from his back and blocked it in front of him. Clang! The shield completely blocked Huo Shaoshan's slash. Huo Shaoshan suddenly felt his hands go numb, and the strong shock force almost made Huo Shaoshan let go of his samurai sword. What? It's impossible. I'm the Vice Admiral of the Navy headquarters. My slash can even split a hard cannon in two. Your shield actually blocked it. Could it be Heilushi's shield? It's too exaggerated. There's not even a trace. Huo Shaoshan was shocked. Dang, clang, clang. Ling Fan knocked on his shield and said, "This shield of mine is not a stone. This is the original Edelman metal." "Zhenjin, do you know?" Ling Fan asked. "I don't know, but it's okay. I'm going to clean you up completely. The science department will definitely be interested in this stuff." Lieutenant General Huo Shaoshan didn't waste any time after that, and the two collided again. But this time, Ling Fan used his shield in front of him, and after the impact, he directly used the body of Lieutenant General Huo Shaoshan to roll out. "Goodbye, Vice Admiral. I will fight with you again when I have time." Ling Fan rolled over from the body of Vice Admiral Huo Shaoshan, and then jumped into the water perfectly. "You fool, you ran away." Huo Shaoshan was very angry. He was jumped into the water by the enemy before he could use his true skills, which was a great shame for him. "Vice Admiral, the warship is about to collide," a Navy soldier reminded, and Huo Shaoshan finally understood why Ling Fan wanted to escape. "Oops, it's too late. Abandon the ship. Abandon the ship." Huo Shaoshan finally jumped into the water helplessly, swimming towards other warships at an extremely fast speed. "Quick, everyone evacuate. Everyone evacuate." Just listening to the sound of boom, the naval warship hit the middle of this warship, which directly caused the warship to break. The entire warship was in disarray. Some sailors fell into the water, some were burned to death by flames, and some were hit by warships and died on the spot. The surrounding cries for help, and the ringing of phone bugs are almost endless. At this time, Ling Fan didn't have any thoughts or ideas of relaxation. Although he had killed 2 naval warships, there were more than 10 warships in the Demon Slayer order. The most important thing is that he also possesses the terrifying natural ability, Vice Admiral of the Navy headquarters. Although Ling Fan at this time can transform into Captain America, he has never possessed arrogance, so he cannot effectively attack the ability users of the natural department. Ling Fan quickly swam to O'Hara. At this time, the artillery fire from the remaining 8 warships was still ruthlessly raging on the entire O'Hara. "Captain America, no, the strength of the Navy is too strong. We know you are very powerful. But if this continues, O'Hara will still be destroyed." Zoro and Alvia also said a little disappointed. Navy warships tried to completely destroy this island with artillery shells. Let alone us. Even the ordinary townspeople were killed a lot. Alvia gritted her teeth and was very unwilling. "Don't give up." Ling Fan patted Alvia's shoulder and said, "Think about Robin. You still have your daughter. How can you give up?" Ling Fan already possessed the ability of Captain America, so he immediately became the spiritual leader of everyone. "What should we do, Captain? Is there anything you can do? After all, you have destroyed 2 warships." Zoro just had a panoramic view of everything. Of course there is a way. But Zoro's method is quite dangerous. "Do you have the courage to make sacrifices?" Ling Fan asked. Trey hee. "No problem. As long as Robin and Alvia can be saved, it's absolutely no problem." Zoro also said firmly. "Since that's the case, you and I attack the naval warship together again." The destruction of 2 warships just now has attracted the attention of the Navy. Our attack again will definitely attract some of the Navy's attention. Alvia, at this time, you can lead Robin to escape from the gap. "Yes, Robin is still young, you can't let Robin get hurt." Zoro felt that what Ling Fan said made sense, and immediately persuaded Alvia. Okay, Alvia nodded, feeling very reasonable, so she immediately turned and went to look for Robin. At this time Zoro looked at Ling Fan and said, "We have become O'Hara's last barrier. Yes, next, we're going to fight hard." Ling Fan clenched his fists and set his sights on the 8 warships in the distance. At this time, the atmosphere on the warship has also become much heavier. Blue, blue, blue. Aga, Sengoku General. Yes, a blue guy in a costume. Okay, don't worry. The Admiral finally hung up the phone. This person is tall, wearing a white suit vest and a dark blue shirt. He is a very lazy person who loves freedom and loves vacations. At this time, he looked at O'Hara in the distance coldly and then said, "It's really annoying. Not only is the rare vacation gone, but I have to deal with my former colleagues in the end. The most important thing is that the enemy actually destroyed 2 warships and even forced Lieutenant General Huo Shaoshan to jump into the water before escaping his life. This guy is too much, and the Warring States General forced me to kill him. I guess it was Sakaski who reported it. It seems that it's time for me to go out." That's right, the person who spoke was none other than Vice Admiral Kuzan of the Navy headquarters, and, in the future, it will be Admiral Aokiji of the Navy headquarters. At this moment, he finally stood up from the reclining chair, looked at O'Hara and said, "Stop shelling. Next, follow my command." Then Kuzan directly froze the sea, forming a long passage, and then Kuzan also moved quickly towards Soro and Lingfan on ice. Lingfan and Saoluo were very excited when they saw that the Navy had stopped their bombardment, but the mood of the 2 of them fell into a cliff in the next second. "This is Kuzan. Aokiji. No way. The future admiral. Now I have met him." Lingfan's heart is also full of uneasiness. Now, even if he is the incarnation of Captain America, it is not easy to deal with Aokiji. "Soro, it seems that the Navy already knows how powerful I am, so they sent Kuzan over here. Leave it to me. Go help Robin and her daughter, right?" Ling Fan knew that facing Kuzan, Soro would be a dead end, so he immediately persuaded him. "No, no, if you stay here, you will be killed by Soro too. Don't think I don't know. You are actually a zero-mortal boy. Trey hee hee, it's great to have a friend like you." Soro was not as stupid as he seemed. Seeing this, Ling Fan naturally did not hide his identity, and then said, "Go. I will create a gap. Create an opportunity. Otherwise, there will be no chance." Soro laughed instead. "Trey hee hee. I didn't expect to be friends with someone as interesting as you besides Alvia and Robin. I am content in this life. I am willing to die with you. Since that's the case, let's fight to the end. Even the Admiral of the Navy. I will stop it." At this time, the sacred plan in Ling Fan's hand suddenly appeared, and then began to release dazzling light. "This is transforming again." Ling Fan became excited again. The host's strong emotions are detected, and the light of friendship will light up as soon as it is said. A voice from the divine plan also suddenly sounded. "Attention, Kuzan is coming." Soro also had a serious expression. "I'm afraid this guy can't hear the divine plan," so he continued, "You held a friendship. Then start a new round of transformation." Quote, "New transformation." Ling Fan was both excited and worried at this time, excited that the new transformation might turn him into a stronger superhero, and of course he might transform into a character weaker than the US team. Forget everything and let fate. Ling Fan raised the deep plan in his hands to his lips and said, "Start the super transformation form." Dang lang lang. At this time, Ling Fan summoned 5 dazzling rays of light again, all of which covered his body. What is this guy doing? Kuzan was skating from a distance, and then immediately raised his hand high and said, "Ice cube 2 thorn spears." Immediately, several ice spears formed from Kuzan's side, quickly poking towards the glowing Ling Fan and Soro. At this time, Ling Fan was still in a state of transformation, so it was naturally impossible to free up his hands to resist Kuzan's attack. Soro also stood in front of Ling Fan directly, and used his body to bear Kuzan's attack for Ling Fan. Pooh pooh. 2 attacks pierced Soro's body, and Soro immediately spurted out blood. At this time, Ling Fan's body has changed again, but the change is not big, and his figure has hardly changed, except that his blue costume has become an ordinary normal attire. "Soro, I really don't understand why you betrayed the Navy." Kuzan finally came to Soro's side. "This guy is your accomplice who is known as Captain America, right? Let me meet him." Freezing moment. Kuzan then froze Soro's lower body. "Run, Boy Zero," Soro said excitedly. "Next, let me see, is your ice stronger, or my fire stronger?" A group of fiery flames rushed towards Kuzan in an instant. Kuzan raised his hand in shock and released the air conditioning, creating an ice wall. Boom! The flame pierced through the ice wall, and Kuzan only dodged the flame completely after dodging backwards. "What? Could it be that you have the ability to burn fruit?" Kuzan was very surprised. In the Devil Fruit illustration book, there used to be a relative fruit, which was completely opposite to the frozen fruit, and it was the burning fruit. HMPH. Kuzan, right, I think you misunderstood. I'm not some kind of fruit burner. My name is Johnny. I have a nickname, Thunderbolt. Ling Fan said indifferently, and then directly burned himself completely, turning himself into a fireman, and rushed towards Kuzan extremely quickly. This time, Ling Fan's transformation target is one of the Fantastic Four, the fire-controlling hero, Human Torch. In the Marvel world, not only can fire be created but also fire can be controlled, and it can be used to fly with flames. After Ling Fan turned into Human Torch, the energy and power of convenience have been improved rapidly, and this made Ling Fan even more unexpected. Captain America's ability has actually been superimposed with Human Torch's ability. At this time, Ling Fan not only has the shield of the US team on his back, but also has the ability of flames all over his body. At this moment, Ling Fan finally has the strength to fight against Kuzan. It's still able to fly. Kuzan was also surprised. According to his cognition, the ability user who burns fruit is not so exaggerated. Wow, kid, you are really amazing. I never thought you would have so many magical abilities. I really underestimated you. Kid, come on. Trey hee hee hee. Soro laughed so optimistically. Ice Puck. Kuzan raised his hand and released 5 icicles in the face of Ling Fan, who was rushing towards him. The icicle has the power of a devil fruit. As long as it touches an ordinary person, it will be completely frozen. But who is Zero Fan? But Johnny the Human Torch among the Fantastic Four. The flames all over Ling Fan's body exploded, and blazing light burst out from all over his body. Ling Fan completely covered the shield behind him with flames, and finally threw the shield out. In an instant, the indestructible vibrating gold shield shattered Kuzan's 5 icicles. The ice shards scattered with the wind and landed next to Kuzan's shocked eyes. What kind of weapon is this? Kuzan gasped, not daring to take this move, so he used his body skills to dodge it again. But Ling Fan quickly accumulated strength, the flames all over his body gathered in his arms, and finally the fire fist violently punched out, a huge fireball turned into a fire wolf, and rushed out of Ling Fan's hand. On the one hand, Kuzan avoided the flame-vibrating gold shield, on the other hand, he gathered the cold air on his right arm, which condensed into hard ice, and then launched it out. Ice Cube Stormy Mouth. The huge solid ice turned into an ice bird, and rushed towards Ling Fan's fire wolf quickly. Kuzan would never have thought that above O'Hara, there would be someone whose strength was not inferior to him. One ice and one fire finally collided together, and an extremely powerful shock wave was generated around the two of them. After the shock wave spread outward, the scholars on the entire O'Hara Island felt the shock. My God, what's the matter? This shock wave is so powerful. Even the sea has become unsettled. At this time, a man wearing a navy hat also snorted coldly, that guy Kuzan. What are you doing? Lieutenant General Sikarsky. Lieutenant General Kuzan is engaged in a fierce battle with the enemy. Fierce battle? With the traitor Soro? Or with that theater actor named Captain America? Sakarsky smiled contemptuously again, then stood up. What's the situation? Sakarsky also opened his eyes wide, and couldn't help but gasped. The two just used energy to bombard each other, and finally made an extremely huge deep pit in place. The surrounding flames were still burning, and ice chips and ice cubes were everywhere. Soro passed through the shock wave, shaking off the solid ice that froze his lower body, and immediately ran to a high place, only then escaped the danger. At this time, Kuzan was panting heavily, and Ling Fan was also exhausted. It can be seen that the two sides are currently evenly matched. Who are you? Captain America. Human Torch. Who are you? Report your name. Kuzan asked again. Thunderbolt. Ling Fan patted his chest and said. You are very strong. But that's it. Kuzan had already made up his mind at this time. What is the justice you insist on? Kuzan. Soro knew that Kuzan wanted to use that trick, and immediately persuaded him. Justice. Everyone's disputes are different. Now I want to know the justice in the hearts of the two of you. Kuzan pointed to Ling Fan and Soro with his fingers. Us. Ling Fan was very puzzled. Yes. What is your justice? Kuzan asked. There is no reason for the world government and the Navy to stick to their narrow justice. Killing scholars and archaeologists. Is this justice? My justice is to protect the people I want to protect. Friends and most important partners around me. Soro said. Just because of this, what are you doing against the Navy? Don't hesitate to betray. Kuzan then stopped looking at Soro, and looked at Ling Fan. Me, O'Hara is where I was born. Soro, Robin and others are all my friends. But there is no justice. Ling Fan, I want to fight to the death with the unscrupulous world government and the executioner navy. Ling Fan said his name directly. Zero Fan, so this is your real name? Yes, my name is Ling Fan. I have a showdown, remember my name and appearance. Kuzan didn't say anything, just nodded. Saoluo, let's go. In the next battle, I will deal with Ling Fan wholeheartedly. I have no time to care about other people. Kuzan squinted at Ling Fan. Let's go. Soro, take Robin and Alvia. Didn't you make a raft? Just use that raft to leave the west coast. I'm not that easy to deal with. Ling Fan looked at Soro firmly. Soro nodded, and immediately went to find Robin and Alvia. After Soro left, Ling Fan asked, why let Soro go? Because, I want to see what you have guarded with your life, what will become of it in the end. Kuzan said. HMPH, with you now, how can you easily take my life? Ling Fan is full of confidence. The combined strength of Captain America and Human Torch is enough to make him invincible. Do you want me to release my strongest move after all? Don't worry, I will control the scope of this move and only let him freeze yours. Kuzan then began to accumulate strength, and the ability of the Devil Fruit was brought to the extreme. It is obvious that the surrounding temperature has begun to drop sharply. Lieutenant General Sakaski not far away was also a little stunned. How could the enemy be so strong? Isn't he just a guy in a costume? I didn't expect that Kuzan would use his strongest move. HMPH. Kuzan really regressed. Sakaski saw Soro running in the distance, and then said, start shooting. Shooting? What do you mean? The Navy soldiers also didn't understand what the Lieutenant General meant. It means, launch a shell attack. Destroy O'Hara for me, Sikarsky said. But Lieutenant General Kuzan said not to shell first, said the Navy soldier. Do you want to disobey the demon-slaying order? Soldier, Sakaski said coldly, and the Navy soldier immediately dared not say anything. Ready to shell, shouted the soldier. On O'Hara, Ling Fan, who was about to resist Kuzan's big move, sneered, look. This cannonball flying all over the sky. Is this your Kuzan's justice? Do you agree with the Navy's justice? Kill refuge ships, kill innocent civilians, and seal history. I didn't expect these. Kuzan shook his head and said, this is not an order from me. You are just an executioner who obeys orders, and you are just a bullet for the world government and the Navy. Ling Fan then showed firmness and determination in his eyes. And I am a shield. I will protect everything I want to protect. Protect everything. Ling Fan firmly grasped his Captain America shield, blocked in front of him, and made a gesture of vowing to defend everything. Since that's the case, I won't say anything more to you. The Ice Age. Kuzan slapped the ground with his palm, and within 3 seconds, the ground was covered with thick ice crystals. Within 50 meters of Kuzan as the center, even the sea was frozen. This trick is not only as simple as freezing the ground, the most important thing is that after Kuzan used the freezing power, the air was also filled with icy air. Boom! Ling Fan immediately released the flame energy of his body completely, and the surrounding ice-cold air was burned hot again. However, the power of the Ice Age increased rapidly. Not only Ling Fan's body began to freeze, but even Captain America's shield in his hand also began to freeze. Ling Fan broke through his limit again and again, broke through the freezing of the surrounding air conditioning again and again, and the whole body began to burn with flames again. The surrounding heat has almost been absorbed. There is no other way. This move seems to be the strongest move of Human Torch. I still underestimate the power of One Piece World. Kuzan is indeed one of the 3 admirals of the Navy. If I can survive this time, I will definitely burn it. Boy! Ling Fan completely released all the heat, and a bigger flame burned all over his body immediately. Ling Fan's actions immediately aroused everyone's shock. This guy, you can still persist. This is my strongest move. I never thought I could persist for so long. Kuzan was shocked. Although he is a lieutenant general of the Navy headquarters, his strength has already entered the threshold of a general. He has the natural frozen fruit ability, and he has never met an opponent. But this time Ling Fan refreshed his 3 views. This guy must be killed without mercy. If a guy of this level is allowed to enter the sea, he will definitely become a very terrifying enemy. Lieutenant General Sakaski also put Ling Fan on the must-kill list at this time. The fire light emitted by Ling Fan's body at this time, which was originally very prosperous, was immediately restrained and compressed in it. Robin. Ling Fan had already flown into the air at this time. He seemed to have seen Sorrow fleeing with Robin. In this case, I will have no scruples. Kuzan immediately saw Ling Fan's expression. What does this guy want to do? Compress the flames. Kuzan's bad premonition came true. Nova exploded. Ling Fan detonated his body at the last moment, and everything around him was instantly reduced to ashes. Boom, boom, boom. The huge voice was instantly deafening. The ice surface was completely destroyed, and Kuzan showed a shocked expression. He didn't expect Ling Fan to detonate himself. He elementalized himself in the shortest possible time, turning his whole body into solid ice, and immediately used his devil fruit power to protect the surrounding navy. But Ling Fan's explosion affected the entire sea. The entire sea became turbulent because of Ling Fan's detonation, and the tsunami instantly submerged several naval warships. The waves are coming. Attention, attention, my God, what kind of explosion is this? This guy actually blew himself up. The waves instantly pushed up the raft in the distance, and the raft on which a girl and a giant were riding also rushed forward quickly. Ling Fan, you must not die. I know, he will come back. Robin, keep smiling. Then the goddess of luck will take care of us. Ling Fan will be fine. Trey he. Although they were smiling, the two of them were already in tears. At this time, O'Hara was already in a state of misery. Ling Fan broke the boat at the last moment and used the Nova explosion of Human Torch. Even though Lieutenant General Kuzan tried his best to stop it and protect the surroundings as much as possible, Ling Fan still caused irreversible consequences. At this time, Admiral Sengoku was also shocked. After he heard about O'Hara's situation, he couldn't believe it. What did you say? All 10 warships were destroyed by the explosion. What? Is the enemy Whitebeard? No, are you kidding me? Warring States looked helpless. The 10 warships were really not worth mentioning for the entire navy, but the problem was that the Demon Slaughter Order, which could destroy everything, was actually destroyed. This is what puts the entire navy in the face. Not to mention that Vice Admiral Kuzan and Lieutenant General Sakaski are the best candidates to become generals. Where's the culprit named Ling Fan? Well, very good. Don't let him run away. Throw him away and push him to the bottom of the city. The general of the Warring States period finished speaking and then hung up the phone. This guy, it's really the Warring States period. I didn't know what to say, so I took some paper and ate it for my lamb. Warring States, what the hell is going on? Who is so powerful? Can he be thrown away and pushed to the bottom of the city? An uncle next to him asked while eating senbei and drinking tea. Garp, the demon-slaying order was launched, but 10 warships were destroyed by one person. Warring States said. It's just 10 warships, so what? Garp didn't think destroying 10 warships was so powerful. But there are not only 10 warships. There are soldiers in Shanghai on 10 warships. There are also dozens of admirals. There are also 5 lieutenant generals. There are also Kuzan and Sakaski. Warring States said immediately. You mean, in front of Kuzan, Sakaski and others, did this guy destroy 10 warships? Garp knew what Sengoku was worried about. It seems that his strength may have entered the level of a general. Garp said. It's not that this guy chose to blow himself up in the end. He has only one breath left now, and all his limbs are crippled. This guy doesn't seem to know how to use domineering, otherwise Kuzan would be killed on the spot. This is also a blessing in misfortune. Zhongguo also sighed. It's really a boy born from a hero. This guy is so hardworking, it would be great if he joined the navy. It's a pity. Garp sighed and shook his head. Impossible, this guy is a member of O'Hara. It's impossible to be accepted by the navy and the world government. I'm keeping his life now, but I'm just obeying the order of Wu Laoxing. Wu Laoxing seems to want to talk to this guy. After all, everyone else has been destroyed. After Zhongguo finished speaking, he went to work. At this time, in the endless sea not far from the Great Waterway, there stood a tower. This tower was known as an iron wall. Since its establishment, no one has been able to escape. This is the submarine prison of the Navy Propulsion City. At this time, the Navy handed over a bloody man to the Warden Magellan. Warden Magellan, this man is called Ling Fan, and I will hand him over to you. The general of the Warring States period has already told you about the specific situation, so we will leave first. After the Navy handed over Ling Fan's body, he left immediately. At this moment, Ling Fan was bloody, his whole body was burnt, only one arm was still alive, but on the wrist of this arm, the divine plan appeared again. Chapter 11. A man with wings on his back and a horn on his head, who looks exactly like the devil Satan, is the director of the City of Advancement, Magellan, the poisonous fruit ability user. At this time, there was another subordinate standing next to him, with a prajna face, wearing a headgear in the style of an Egyptian pharaoh, and his belly swelled like a ghost. He was the warden Hannibal. At this time, Hannibal had not yet become deputy administrator. Director, this guy, I don't think there's any need to send him to prison, right? It's already like this. Come on, throw him directly into the sea. Hannibal immediately realized that he had overstepped. I'm sorry. I've exposed my ambition. I'm just giving orders for you, director. However, Magellan ignored Hannibal at this time, but stared straight at Ling Fan in front of him, and said, indeed, this guy has become like this, and he is still being thrown to the 6th floor. What? The 6th floor? Director, are you sure? Hannibal was taken aback. Sure, an order from the Warring States General personally. This guy has destroyed 10 warships, and he can draw with the Vice Admiral. No way, this guy looks like an 8-year-old child. Such a young man can be tied with the Lieutenant General. Hannibal also looked in disbelief. Who knows, we don't need to worry about it so much. No, I'm going to the toilet again. You're about to get him to the bottom. After Magellan finished speaking, he went to the toilet immediately. What an unreliable director. I will take your position sooner or later. Hannibal said what he was thinking, and immediately attracted Magellan's attention. Ahaha, I'm sorry. I exposed my ambition again. Soon, Ling Fan was thrown into the infinite hell. Unlike others, Ling Fan belonged to a separate room. For a long time, no one came to the 6th floor, and a new guy came. Haha, it's so interesting. Hey, what is your identity? How did you come into infinite hell? Ordinary people won't be locked up here. If you can get locked up here, you will definitely be a famous big pirate. How about you? Why isn't this guy talking? When this guy came, wasn't he carried in? It seemed that there was only one breath left. Oh, I'm so bored, I thought we could chat. Ling Fan felt nothing and fell into a severe coma. He didn't know the passage of time or how long it had passed. Ling Fan suddenly felt a burst of warmth coming from his arm. It's so warm, I feel hot all over. The cold feeling dispelled. I remember that I was already dead. Didn't the explosion of the new star destroy me? So I was dreaming. Ling Fan slapped himself and found it didn't hurt at all. No, am I dreaming? So I'm not dead. I should wake up. Most people will wake up after they find themselves dreaming in their dreams. Ling Fan is no exception, but after he opened his eyes, he found himself in a strange place. I was in a prison cell without even a bed, and the environment was extremely harsh. Where is this place? Could it be Emperor Sea Prison Propel City? Wow, my body hurts so much. It was only then that Ling Fan realized that his body could hardly move, and his limbs were already paralyzed, only one hand could be seen as a hand. Is this the divine plan? Ling Fan was surprised, but he didn't expect that the divine plan was not damaged in any way. Great, just transform into Captain America. My injuries can recover quickly. But before Ling Fan turned into Captain America, a warm feeling began to come from the arm carrying the divine plan, which was very similar to the feeling in a dream. So that's it. It's the divine plan that has been nurturing my body. Although the range is not large, it is always developing towards the good side. Ling Fan's face also showed a little more joy. At this time, some prisoners have noticed Ling Fan's awakening. Hey boy, are you awake? Okay, why did you come in? Tell us about the outside world. Ling Fan thought for a while and then said, I don't know the details. I was fighting the Navy and fell into a coma. When I woke up, I found myself here. By the way, what is this place? Ah, you don't know what this place is. This is the largest prison in the world, Emperor, the submarine prison, and the City of Advancement. Advancing City is actually here. It's so far from the West Sea. The Navy brought me here on purpose. Why? I don't understand. The man immediately became interested when he heard what Ling Fan said about fighting the Navy. Boy, if you are fighting with the Navy, you must be a big pirate. The reward must be very high. Tell me more about it. How do you fight? Ling Fan thought that Robin and Soro must have escaped, and I am not in a hurry now, and I need the divine plan to continue to nourish my body, so I told the truth. I'm not a pirate. The Navy launched a demon-slaying order, and I started a battle with Vice Admiral Kuzan. In the end, I blew myself up. 10 warships were blown up by me, and Kuzan was seriously injured. I thought I would die, but it didn't. And when I woke up, I was here. Ling Fan told the truth about what he knew. Aren't you kidding me again? From your voice, it should be no more than 10 years old, right? You destroyed 10 warships. Can you still seriously injure Lieutenant Admiral Kuzan? Didn't you just have a dream? You have to know that this guy is an ability user of the fruit of nature. And he will be promoted to Admiral soon. How is this possible? Before Ling Fan could explain, other voices rang out. Ha ha ha, do you believe what a child says? Why do you have to be so serious? Once he said that, we just had a good time, that's all. Those who can enter the infinite hell are not all famous and strong in the sea, and some of them just have very important identities. I think this kid must have an unusual identities. But Ling Fan was taken aback. What? This is the 6th basement of the city. Infinite hell, I can come in. Boy, judging from your tone, it seems that you already knew about the 6th underground floor. Of course, the 6th floor is full of sea legends. Ling Fan immediately recalled the previous battle. Really, against Kuzan, if I can use domineering. If I use domineering with my strength, I would have killed Kuzan at that time. As long as I learn domineering, I will definitely be able to beat people with natural abilities to the ground. It's really annoying. Immediately afterwards, Ling Fan noticed the powerhouse on this level. I'll save them, then let them teach me. Ling Fan also had a very bold plan in his heart. Quote, and at this time, someone from Infinite Hell came, and the person who came was none other than Director Magellan. Why did Magellan come here today? Could it be because of this kid? Not long after this kid woke up, Magellan came. I guess it's probably because of this kid. Magellan's figure is very huge, but because his image can't be found in the world of pirates, Ling Fan recognized him at a glance. This is the ability user of the poisonous fruit. Is Magellan the director of the City of Advancement? Even if Captain America deals with him, he will probably be poisoned. Captain America is a super soldier who is naturally immune to general toxins. Germa 66's Reiju has the ability to be immune and absorb toxins, but in this world of pirates, can the ability of Devil Fruit defeat science and technology? Ling Fan naturally didn't dare to try the method by himself, and took the initiative to try. Besides, Ling Fan hadn't recovered yet at this time. At this time, Magellan walked to Ling Fan's cell and asked, "Boy, are you awake?" Director Magellan, the dignified director of Jincheng City, come to me. Is there something wrong? Ling Fan was not so polite when he spoke to the Navy. The Navy and the world government wiped out O'Hara, so Robin and Soro had to run around to avoid the Navy's pursuit, and Ling Fan almost paid the price with his life. HMPH. It's nothing, I just want to see how you, an 8-year-old boy, destroyed 10 naval warships, and even severely injured Lieutenant Admiral Kuzan. I was skeptical at first, but this time I'm completely sure. I'm afraid it's the Navy's nonsense. Just you. I don't think it's Kuzan. Even an ordinary Navy soldier, you may not be able to defeat it. HMPH. Magellan, I don't care what you think of me. Leave early and don't disturb my rest. Ling Fan's words are really not polite at all. Even the legends of the sea in the past dare not contradict Magellan like this. After all, Magellan has the strength of a general. Even the Blackbeard pirates were dropped by him in seconds. Sure enough, the powerhouses on the 6th floor were shocked. My God, what's going on with this kid? How dare he contradict Magellan on the spot? What else is he afraid to do? So, this guy really destroyed 10 warships? No way. Then the matter of defeating the master of the Vice Admiral of the Navy, Kuzan, is also true. Oh my God, will another peerless legend appear in the sea? This kid, he must be 10 years old. Sorry, I'm 8 years old. Ling Fan added. Blue, blue, blue. At this moment, the phone bug in the hands of the jailer next to Magellan suddenly rang. Magellan answered the phone, and then Magellan respectfully said, okay. Ha, smelly brat. Wu Laoxing wants to talk to you directly. Keep your mouth clean. Just like that, Magellan aimed the phone bug directly at Ling Fan. 5 old stars. Scary. An 8-year-old child is qualified to talk to Wu Laoxing. Those 5 old men are the highest authority in the world. What is the identity of this kid? All the pirate legends are very curious about the conversation between Ling Fan and Wu Laoxing. Ling Fan listened to the call with disdain. Your name is Ling Fan. We are 5 old stars. What's the matter? I'm still busy sleeping, Ling Fan said in a very difficult way. Are you a scholar at O'Hara? Are you an O'Hara scholar? Ling Fan asked back. The phone bug is a magical creature that can imitate the appearance and expression of the speaker, and the speaker is the bald star. I'm asking you, Ling Fan, are you an O'Hara scholar? Are you a historian? The bald star was almost pissed off by Ling Fan. Yes, I'm asking you, are you a scholar? Are you a historian? This guy must have some brain problems. Director Magellan, there's something wrong with this guy's mind. You have a brain problem. This guy is wrong. This is Wu Laoxing, the 5 adults with the highest authority in the world government. Show some respect. Magellan almost didn't die of anger. Will you speak well? Magellan also gave Ling Fan a hard look. If you continue to talk like this, I will poison you to death. After Magellan threatened Ling Fan got better. Let me ask you again, Ling Fan, are you a scholar? Can you understand the text of history? Also, where did the little girl Pianzi and Lieutenant General Soro who ran out go? Wu Laoxing's voice changed, and the appearance of the phone bug changed into the bearded one. Ling Fan replied, do you really want to know? It's a long story. Say, a long time ago, there was no life on Earth. Hey, brat, you're talking too far. Will you keep the story short? Magellan couldn't stand it anymore. Answer my question directly. This is the last chance for you to continue living. Wu Laoxing, who was opposite, was also on the verge of anger. Since you have asked the question sincerely, then I will tell you mercifully. My wish is to be a scholar, but before I can become a scholar, your navy attacked, and the shells are flying all over the sky. What is the history text? I have never heard of it at all. As for the little girl's film, of course I know where they went. I am good friends with them. Before they left, they told me where they were going. Where is it? Tell us. We'll let you live. This is your last chance. It's just, I can't remember clearly. Look at me, I'm so seriously injured, and my brain is so dizzy, why don't you let me think about it? What island is it? I'm sorry, I really can't remember clearly. Fan's acting skills are simply overwhelming. Wu Laoxing was extremely angry in his heart. What Ling Fan said was the same as if he didn't say it, but they didn't need to kill Ling Fan again. After all, Ling Fan has become like this now, and it doesn't matter whether he kills or not. If he doesn't kill him, he may get out the intelligence of Robin and Soro. The 5 old stars naturally gave up and then killed Ling Fan. And Ling Fan guessed that Wu Laoxing would let him go, so he dared to be so presumptuous. After all, the historical text and the blank 100 years are the reverse scale, Robin of the world government. One day, the whole world may know that period of history. Then Magellan answered the phone, nodded and bowed, and said to Ling Fan, you should thank Lord Wu Laoxing. Think about the location of those 2 as soon as possible. We can consider it and let you make some requests. Okay, I got it, thanks. Well, I'm going to take a break. Ling Fan, who is disabled, immediately issued an order to evict the guest. Magellan was a little embarrassed, but he still left the infinite hell. Wu Laoxing, I still want to kill Robin and Soro, I must leave here as soon as possible. When Magellan left, the inmates in other cells immediately exclaimed, Boss, how dare you anger Wu Laoxing? Magellan, you don't even pay attention. We are full of admiration for you. You dare to be so tough with the Navy and the world government at the age of 8. Let us big pirates feel guilty instead. Facing the pirates, Ling Fan was naturally polite and said, all the senior pirates are legends among pirates. Any one of them, pulling it out can make the whole sea tremble. I have a plan to escape from here. I don't know if you are interested. What? Prison break. Those strong pirates looked at each other, and then they all laughed. Ha 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 ha, he he he. All kinds of laughter can be heard endlessly. Son, in fact, we have been able to go out by ourselves a long time ago. It's just that we are in charge of food and housing here, so we stay here. The pirates also said with a smile. So that's the case. Ling Fan also nodded with a vague understanding. So that's it. What AP? If we could escape from prison, we would have escaped from prison long ago. The pirates couldn't help but complain. Did you see the Halushi handcuffs on our hands? Did you see the Halushi chains behind us? Look, even the iron fence of the prison cell is made of Halu stone. We can talk to you normally, we have used all our strength. Don't talk anymore. I'm tired. Boy, although we admire you very much, your ideas are very immature. Moreover, there are heavy guards at every level. And Magellan is not easy to deal with. Boy, I'm afraid we won't have the chance to go out in this life, so you can honestly stay here with us until we grow old. Ling Fan said, and, I don't want to. After careful observation, several prison cells were tightly locked by the Halushi fence. It is indeed very good for the capable user not to collapse to the ground when facing Halushi. Hey, the majestic legendary pirate is so cowardly. I really admire it. I thought how powerful the strong people on the 6th floor are. Unexpectedly, they are all cowards. Ling Fan is not even afraid of the 5 old stars, so naturally he is not afraid of offending the pirates on the 6th floor. You, don't be too complacent, kid. If you are too arrogant, you will know how powerful Magellan is. Magellan, it's just the strength of an admiral. That kind of garbage is not even worthy of carrying my shoes. Ling Fan looked very contemptuous. You kid, you can't even defeat Lieutenant General Kuzan. Besides, didn't you say that you don't even know how to be domineering? Facing the doubts of the pirates, Ling Fan snorted coldly, and said in his heart, Magellan is not natural. Then Ling Fan put his gaze on his wrist. Holy plan, are you still healing me? Forget it, don't care, as long as you transform into Captain America or Human Torch. You can rush out no matter what, you don't encounter Magellan. Ling Fan already had a plan in mind. Just as he was about to transform, a laugh caught everyone's attention. Gee, ha 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 ha, interesting and interesting. Little brother, I am very curious about your plan. If it is really possible to go out, I can teach you domineering and swordsmanship. I would like to believe in your little brother. Ling Fan raised his head and found that it was an uncle who looked a little ugly but had dazzling flowing golden hair. Are you? Yes, I am, the legendary legend of the sea. The Golden Lion Mr. Shiji, who is as famous as Roger Whitebeard. Looking at the Golden Lion, Ling Fan knew that in the same year of the O'Hara incident, the Golden Lion gave up his legs and successfully escaped from prison, becoming the only person who successfully escaped from prison in the history of the city, and of course he can't be counted as Luffy. Oh, it turns out to be the famous Golden Lion Shiji. Thank you for your recognition. Since this is the case, I will only be responsible for rescuing you in the next prison escape. Other reckless people, even if they kowtow to me, I will not go to rescue them again. Gee, ha 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 ha, what an interesting little brother. If you can help me escape successfully, I will give you whatever you want. Jin Shizi originally wanted to escape from prison, but Ling Fan brought it up again. Although the two of them were thinking carefully, their purpose was the same. Great, Ling Fan nodded, and said to the divine plan, activate the super transformation form. Please choose the hero you want to change, Captain America Rogers, or Johnny the Human Torch. Before Ling Fan could name the hero he wanted to change, a voice came from the divine plan. Ding ding ding, it has been detected that you have completed the task of the major event level. You have destroyed 10 warships and severely injured Vice Admiral Kuzan. Therefore, the transformation system will randomly reward you with the transformation of a new hero. Do you want to choose a new hero? Ling Fan was also very excited. He used the Human Torch to release the Nova explosion. Not only did he not die, but he also completed the mission of the big event. Great, now there are more choices of heroes. Ling Fan said immediately, directly help me transform into a superhero. Ling Fan thought in his heart, it shouldn't be something like a Black Widow, right? The hero has been selected. Please transform the host, said the divine plan. Ling Fan then shouted with excitement, start the super transformation form. Immediately afterwards, Ling Fan's body emitted 5 rays of light again. Like the previous transformation, the 5 rays of light attached to Ling Fan's limbs and head respectively. This ray of light immediately helped the molecules of Ling Fan's body to reorganize. Ling Fan's body, through the transformation system, began to transform into a new hero. Because of his transformation into a superhero, Ling Fan's disabled body recovered almost instantly. Soon, Ling Fan felt that he was different, his bones seemed to have changed, and his whole body became indestructible. Ling Fan's clothing has also changed. It used to be an ugly prison uniform, but now there is a handsome pair of jeans. In addition to the top, there is also a cool leather jacket. His hair shape has also changed. The most important thing is that Ling Fan's body has become taller and mightier again. What kind of hero is this? Ling Fan was excited to receive the information from the divine plan. After receiving the information from the divine plan, Ling Fan almost shed tears without being excited. At this time, this hero is simply Tianyao and he is extraordinary. Great. Ling Fan crossed his hands, blocked in front of him, stared at his fists with his eyes, and then, hey! 3 extremely sharp claws protruded from the concave part of the phalanx of the fist immediately. Kanglanglang. After stretching out his claws, Ling Fan collided and rubbed them against each other, and golden sparks appeared in an instant. There was also a very crisp metallic sound. There are 3 claws on each of Ling Fan's arms, which can be controlled by the forearm muscles to expand and contract freely. This is the Edelman alloy claw. At this time, Ling Fan exerted light force, and the chains that locked him were easily broken. Facing the so-called indestructible Heilushi cell in front of him, Ling Fan just waved his right hand like this. Phew! The hardest Heilu stone prison door was completely destroyed by Edelman's alloy claws like paper paste. Ding-ling-a-ling. Ling Fan cut the entire prison door into countless sections, as easily as cutting tofu. Heilushi is really no match for Edelman alloy. Next, it's time to escape from prison, right? Ling Fan walked out of the prison door so easily. Immediately afterwards, the exclamation of the infinite hell powerhouses. My god, I'm not dreaming. Did you see it? This guy actually destroyed Heilushi's prison. Isn't he capable? Why is Heilushi ineffective against him? Countless strong people were also shocked at this time, and those who can walk out of their own prisons so easily are not weak. At this time, Ling Fan walked to the door of the Golden Lion's prison. Where's that kid just now? You didn't kill him, did you? HMPH. To tell you the truth, the kid just now is my teacher, and I'm just his rookie apprentice. In other words, I'm just one of his worst apprentices. Golden Lion, I will save you. Does your promise to my master still count? Ling Fan asked directly. The Golden Lion is also a little dazed. Under normal circumstances, who would believe what Ling Fan said, but Ling Fan is a strong man who can easily destroy Heilushi. It is natural for the strong to speak. Don't worry, I can successfully escape from prison. I can satisfy your little master whatever he wants. The Golden Lion's promise to Ling Fan before may not be true, but at this time, he has to weigh his words. If he angers that little master, the super strong man in front of him, with a wave of his paw, even if he is a golden lion, he can drink a pot. Remember what you said. Ling Fan didn't want to waste time. He took a step forward and put his paw on the railing, and then exerted force. Clatter la la la. This is the sound of the railing falling to the ground. My god. The powerhouses of infinite hell were stunned. They gasped, not knowing what to say or do to express their inner shock. They are trapped in Heilushi, and they can't use any ability to hang and explode. Wearing Heilushi's handcuffs and chains, even a tiger can only become a sick cat. However, the strong man in front of him has completely broken the rules of the sea, and can use magical superpowers. And he is not afraid of Heilushi at all. The key is, Heilu stone, an extremely hard ore, was cut into small pieces like bean curd residue. All this really subverted their 3 views. Jin Shishi was also stunned at the moment. He had never seen someone escape from prison so directly. What are you doing in a daze? Do you still want to stay here? Ling Fan also snorted coldly, like a super strong man at sea. No, Ling Fan is the peerless strong man in this world at this time. Wow, please, senior, take us out too. That's right, it's our eyes that don't know Mount High. We didn't know that you are so strong, Senior. There are people like you, Senior, in the vast sea. Such a good opportunity to escape from prison. We will definitely seize it. HMPH. Why? Ling Fan asked proudly. Whatever you say is what you say. As long as you take us out of prison, you can do whatever you want us to do. That's right. We can help you find your little master's lost companion in the sea. After thinking about it, Ling Fan thought it was pretty good. We are all legends at sea. The world government and navy want to obliterate our existence, so they imprisoned us here. If seniors don't mind, can we form a camp together? Yes, if it were us, the established forces would definitely be stronger than Whitebeard. Maybe, it would surpass the legendary pirates. The Rocks Pirates. If you want to dominate the pirates, let's go to the Great Channel. Form your pirate group. If you want to fight against the navy, let's form an alliance to avenge the navy. The Avengers by Ling Fan also asked in a murmur. Do you mean what you say? Ling Fan asked immediately. Of course, almost everyone answered in the affirmative. I don't know if it's because of Ling Fan's transformation into Wolverine. He has a more irritable temper and didn't want to waste time. Ling Fan immediately said, okay. It's just me escaping from prison alone. It's not interesting. Since you have made a promise, then you must follow my orders. First of all, join me in killing the 5th underground floor. After that, Ling Fan didn't care about the legends of the sea, and directly used his claws to put all the prisoners' cells and the chains that trapped them, babble. It was cut into small pieces. After neatly releasing the strong men on the 6th floor underground. Immediately afterwards, Ling Fan and these people marched towards the 5th underground floor. Ling Fan saved the strong man on the 6th floor of the basement. Naturally, it was not because of his love. He did it for a reason. The Holy Plan once said that as long as the big event that can shock the sea is completed, the big event can be completed, and the task of the big event level is completed. Then the sacred plan will reward Ling Fan with the opportunity to transform into a superhero. It's just that Ling Fan escaped from prison alone. Even if he succeeds, it's not a big event. How about helping the Golden Lion and 2 people escape from prison? At best it was a newspaper headline. However, if it is said that all the prisoners in Advance City rioted, jailbreak all the existences that the Navy on the 6th floor and the world government are trying to obliterate have all returned to the sea. Then the whole sea must be in chaos. This is definitely a big event that shocked the sea. At this time, in the monitoring room of Jinjin City, a young man wearing a flying cap and smoking a cigar was taken aback. In the images sent by the monitoring video bugs on the 5th and 6th floors underground, there are actually countless figures walking to the upper floors. At this time, the deputy warden who pushed the process was Shiliu, and Shiliu also looked completely unbelievable at this time, and immediately started calling the warden Hannibal's phone bug. But Hannibal was still next to the toilet on the 4th basement floor, holding his booger boredly. Hey, when will the director kill me? My whole body has been hollowed out, so hurry up and die, so that I can sit in the director's seat. Hannibal said proudly. At this time, he was wearing a gas mask, and there were many purple air around him. Hannibal, are you speaking ill of the director again? Came a voice. No, I accidentally slipped my mouth, haha, Hannibal said. Asshole, can you speak behind your back next time? The door was kicked open, and a huge figure was sitting on the toilet. The person who asked the question was naturally the director himself. Magellan was going to the toilet at this time. As a poisonous fruit user, he spent most of the 24 hours excreting poison. Ah, director, you closed the door. I was wrong. Hannibal was wearing a gas mask, but he was still about to be suffocated to death. He closed the door immediately, and at this moment, the phone bug on his body began to ring. Blue, brew, vomit. The phone bug retched in disgust. Although Hannibal was helpless, he immediately connected the phone. Ah, what are you talking about? This, Director Magellan. Hannibal kicked open the toilet door, and handed the phone bug to Magellan. Something happened in Infinity Hell. Shilu is calling, Hannibal also said nervously. Hurry up, give me the phone bug. Before Magellan could lift his pants, he grabbed the phone, but the phone was disconnected. Looking down, the phone bug was already foaming at the mouth, and he didn't know whether he was fainted by the poison or the smell. Phone bug with poor physique. What happened, Hannibal? Tell me, Magellan asked. The pirates of Infinite Hell have escaped. Now they have reached the 5th floor of the basement. Quick, Hannibal, go to the control room immediately. You must stop those guys from Infinite Hell. What's going on here? How did these guys break free from Halushi's control? It was obvious that Magellan was very eager. I don't know. Hannibal is also quite helpless. Let's go. Let's go now. Magellan lifted his pants and walked out with Hannibal. Wait a minute. Hannibal also held Magellan back. Such an urgent situation. What are you waiting for? Is there anything more important? You didn't seem to wipe your pee-pee just now, Hannibal said with some embarrassment. Magellan, you actually hung up the phone. What did these two guys do? Shiliu was also a little speechless, and then he immediately sounded the alarm, and then picked up the phone and asked. Sarutas, the highest level of security. Immediately dispatch all the blue orangutans to guard the floor under your jurisdiction. The army wolves on the 5th floor should be able to hold them off for a while. I'm going to the 5th floor now. Stop their advance. Shiliu picked up his knife and marched towards the 5th floor in the cold hell. At this time, Ling Fan and the others had already arrived at the 5th underground floor, the extremely cold hell. Before Ling Fan could open the cells of the strong men on the 5th floor, a group of wild beasts surrounded everyone. Ah! The army wolves howled out one after another, and then the wolves howled together, and then countless saliva flowed out of their mouths, showing fierce and unfriendly eyes. The powerhouses of Infinite Hell are afraid of a group of army wolves, and they are all ready to show their talents and kill all the general wolves. But at this time, Ling Fan waved his hand and stopped everyone's movements. In front of my Uncle Wolf. Why are you howling again? Howling for what? Leave these beasts to me. Ling Fan crossed his hands without fear of the cold. Who? Edelman's sharp claws stretched out directly. Swoosh. The army wolves rushed towards Ling Fan quickly, but Ling Fan's speed was a bit faster than the army wolves. Ling Fan waved his sharp claws, and only heard a sound, and the sharp claws completely sank into the body of the army wolf. The scene was very bloody. Ling Fan raised his hand, General Wolf picked Lao Gao, and then threw it heavily on the ground. Blood immediately splashed everywhere. The army wolves were only a tentative attack just now, this time is the real attack. The pack of wolves suddenly rushed towards Ling Fan together. I saw Ling Fan exaggeratedly waving his hands back and forth, and all the army wolves who stepped forward turned into corpses. PFF'd. A military wolf came out strangely and bit Ling Fan's calf. Ling Fan kicked out and swooped, stabbing the wolf to death. And Ling Fan's bitten calf recovered at a speed visible to the naked eye. Ah, the army wolves are not stupid. Seeing the ferocity of the person coming, they immediately let out a cry of fear, as if their feet had been oiled, and immediately ran away without a trace. On the white ice of the extremely cold hell, all that remained were the bodies of military wolves one after another. They were all stabbed to death by Ling Fan with their claws, and the bright red blood was also splashed on the ice, which looked very strange. And everyone was moved by Ling Fan's horror. You must know that the strong man of Infinite Hell is not a garbage character, whoever is pulled out as a legendary figure of the pirates. But at this time, seeing Ling Fan's self-healing ability is the same, he couldn't help being dumbfounded. What a terrifying self-healing ability. It can be restored to its original appearance in an instant. That guy named Kaido, he can't compare to the senior in front of him. That, senior, we haven't asked you for your name yet. Golden Lion and others also asked very respectfully, for fear of offending Ling Fan. Call me Wolverine. Ling Fan shook his leather jacket domineeringly, and walked towards the prison of the extremely cold hell. Wolverine is not only Edelman bones and Edelman metal claws, it also has Wolverine-like sharp insight and eagle-like ultra-long distance vision. And a super sense of danger. This is also the reason why Ling Fan was able to avoid the bite of the army wolf. He was bitten just now, but it was Ling Fan deliberately paying the price of minor injuries to observe his own self-healing ability. That's right, the most important thing about Wolverine is its super self-healing ability. In the movie, Wolverine during World War II can quickly heal himself after a nuclear bomb strike. The comics are even more exaggerated, only the head is left, and the skin can be used to breathe. It can be said that the spirit is immortal, and it can be almost immortal. Ling Fan's self-healing calf shows that Wolverine's self-healing ability is exaggerated. Not only is he an undead tank, Still a melee invincible fighter. Super strong perception and insight, let him become the most terrifying assassin again. Ling Fan came to the prison gate of the extremely cold Hell prison, and the pirates on this level naturally had a panoramic view of everything he did just now. He even fought hand to hand with the army wolf group of monsters. What's happening here? Come up from the bottom. What's the situation? Is there a sixth basement? These people, oh my god, they are all big pirates who have been famous for a long time. The person at the head actually subdued those old monsters. Who the hell is he? They all looked at Ling Fan with some fear, not knowing what Ling Fan wanted to do. On the 5th floor underground, the pirates in the extremely cold hell are not as perverted as the strong ones in the infinite hell. But they all have a reward of at least million berry. Don't be afraid, I'm not here to kill you, I just want to give you a benefit. That's jailbreak. I want to liberate the entire Propel City. Release all the criminals, in order to make the whole sea more chaotic. Next, you will attack the 4th basement with me. Liberate prisoners layer by layer. Defeat all jailers and naval guards step by step. Let the history of pirates leave our name. Ling Fan also took great pains to make this event an unprecedented event. Under the leadership of Ling Fan and the great pirates of Infinite Hell, all the pirates in Extreme Cold Hell were also completely released. Everyone rushed towards the scorching hell on the 4th floor, but before entering the scorching hell, a guy wearing a flying cap with a cigar in his mouth and a knife in his hand blocked everyone's way. Guards, jailers, take all the prisoners back. I, the Deputy Warden Shiliu of the Rain, is here. I will definitely not let them go any further. Shiliu's head was covered in sweat, not because of the heat, but because of nervous sweating. This time was 20 years ago when the original work happened. Shiliu's strength is far from the level of the original book, and the enemies in front of him are all hardcore pirates on the sea. Are you not nervous? That must be lying. Ling Fan glanced at Shiliu, shook his head and said, Shiliu of the Rain. Do you want to stop me? You deal with his jailers and guards. Let Wolverine fight him. What, Wolverine, where did you come from? You don't exist in Infinite Hell. You can't. I remember that kid Ling Fan seems to have the ability to transform into other people. Could it be you? Shiliu was not stupid, and he guessed Ling Fan's identity in an instant. After all, the Navy explained Ling Fan's specific situation during the handover. You talk too much nonsense. If you want to fight with me, do it early. Ling Fan stretched out his indestructible alloy claws with a base in his hands. Is this the fruit ability? Superman. Shiliu has already pulled out his saber and rushed towards Ling Fan, and the speed is also extremely fast. Interesting. Ling Fan's long-distance vision and danger perception have already told him what to do. At this time, Ling Fan pushed his feet hard and kicked down. The whole person sprinted directly, and crossed his hands to make an X cut. Boom. X-Zon didn't directly tear Shiliu apart, but left a deep mark on Shiliu's sword, because Shiliu had already covered himself and the sword with the armed color. As the leader of the advancing city, Shiliu naturally learned to be armed and domineering early on, but even though he didn't directly tear Shiliu apart, Shiliu was still taken aback. How can that be? You can ignore my armed color and attack me. And you haven't used your arrogance yet. The knife in Shiliu's hand is the famous sword Thunderstorm, and after only one attack from Ling Fan, there was a deep dent. This guy is very strong. The sharp claws in his hand are extremely sharp. You can't get close to him. Shiliu quickly widened the distance between him and Ling Fan, and then waved the thunderstorm in his hand, and countless sword chi were cut out. Mere sword energy. Ling Fan waved his sharp claws, and the sword energy was dispelled one by Ling Fan's hard alloy claws. In the end, Ling Fan didn't bother to resist with his hands, but directly rushed towards Shiliu with the sword energy. It's not that the sword chi did not cause harm to Ling Fan, but all the damage done to Ling Fan was healed within 10 seconds. Invisible sword energy. It can be carried hard. Possess this level of defense and self-healing power. How holy is your guy? Shiliu already had some fear in his heart. Ling Fan then came to Shiliu's side at an extremely fast speed, tearing down with one claw. Crack. The famous sword Leiyu was cut into two like this. I'm Ling Fan. I'm also Captain America, Human Torch, and Wolverine. I don't even know what you said. Shiliu was knocked down to the ground by Ling Fan's claws. Shiliu slowly moved his body backwards, his face raised in vain. He had never been so scared before. I have never seen such a powerful opponent as Ling Fan. Now you know each other. Ling Fan smiled slightly, put away his Edelman metal claw, and punched it down. Hearing the sound of boom, Shiliu was already knocked out on the spot. The surrounding jailers and guards were originally unable to resist the attacks of the powerhouses of Infinite Hell. Now that the coach has been defeated again, morale has naturally dropped to the lowest point. The powerhouses of Infinite Hell easily killed these jailers and guards in seconds. At this moment, Ling Fan clapped his hands in satisfaction. Good job. But since the enemy already has reinforcements, it means that we have been discovered by others, and our speed should be faster. Walking up from the extremely cold hell on the 5th floor underground, it is naturally the scorching hell on the 4th floor underground. The temperature in the scorching hell is very high, and there are pools of blood and seas of fire all around. Ling Fan still used his claws as usual, directly cut off the stone railing of the cell, and completely rescued all the prisoners. At this time, someone immediately began to block Ling Fan. Who are you? How dare you help a fugitive escape from prison? A little guy pointed his three-pronged gun at Ling Fan and cursed. Who are you? Ling Fan asked. Me, I am the warden of the advancing city. Sarutas. Sarutas, could it be the father of Sarutas? Ling Fan blurted out. How do you know? Never mind why I know. Do you want to stop me too? Zero asked. Of course, as the head of the advancing prison, I am naturally obliged to stop you. Sarutas was very firm and did not intend to let go. In this case, let's fight. But I don't need to do anything to deal with you. Ling Fan waved his hand, and the pirates rushed forward. Those who came from the extremely cold hell were all big pirates with a bounty of hundreds of millions. Without the restriction of Heilushi's handcuffs, he naturally let out the breath that was suffocating in his heart. Some of them use fruit abilities, some use armed domineering, and soon, the jailer beast and the blue orangutan led by the prison chief were all quickly killed. Naturally, the prisoner's cell in the scorching hell was also opened, and the 4th basement floor was broken through just like that, but everyone knew it, so they couldn't rest assured. After all, there was still a big mountain in the city of advancement. That is, the legendary ability user of the poisonous fruit, Director Magellan. Magellan's strength is at the level of a general. And this guy's attack, if you touch it, you will be poisoned. As long as you are poisoned, it means you will definitely die. It can be said to be quite incomprehensible. Even a strong man who is armed with a domineering color is unwilling to be an enemy of Magellan, which shows how difficult Magellan is. But now everyone is thinking and worrying about when the terrifying Director Magellan will meet them. Everyone just crossed the 4th floor, and now came to the 3rd floor of Hunger Hell. The Hunger Hell on the 3rd floor is not as hot as the 4th floor, and most of the pirates in it are below 5,000 million berries and above million berries. Of course, in comparison, the number is more than that of the 4th underground floor. Similarly, after rescuing the prisoners on the 3rd basement floor, Ling Fan and the pirates came to the 2nd basement floor. This time, Ling Fan and the others did not go so smoothly, because the 2nd basement floor is known as Warcraft Hell. There are many kinds of monsters on this layer, and there are a large number of jailer beasts. Many prisoners are not even willing to escape from the prison, because as long as they leave the cell, they will become the rations of monsters. Most of the prisoners on this level don't even have the strength to be afraid. The monsters quickly discovered the existence of a group of people and sounded the alarm, and the monsters rushed out one by one. But at this time, the number of prisoners led by Ling Fan is already quite large, and the number of big pirates is also quite large, and the camps of the two sides directly fought each other. Ling Fan naturally sat there to rest. To deal with this group of monsters, Ling Fan didn't need to take action at all, and his subordinates could help him completely solve them. Of course, there are also a few monsters that don't have long eyes and take the initiative to attack Ling Fan. As the saying goes, if you throw a peach, you will return it. For those who attack Ling Fan uses his indestructible Edelman metal claws to insert into their brains. Under the leadership of Ling Fan and the legendary pirate, the entire floor of monsters was soon wiped out. Finally, Ling Fan perfectly killed the giant and ugly leader of the monster, Sphinx, with a jump grab. When all the monsters were killed, the whole hell of monsters boiled, and countless little-known pirates all cheered together. They are willing to be Ling Fan's pawns. They regained their courage in the victory and rushed to the forefront. In the end, all the prisoners in Warcraft Hell rushed to the basement floor. Basement 1. It's called Red Lotus Hell. The prisoners were also the most numerous, but they were also the most disheveled. When the prisoners on the second basement level rushed up happily, they saw a big mountain blocking them. My God, no way, such bad luck. This is the director of Propel City. Magellan. This guy, why is he here? Isn't his office on the fourth basement floor? I thought he had already been knocked down. The prisoners on the second basement floor made no secret of their actions, but Magellan scanned the crowd, and then his expression became extremely angry. From Infinite Hell, all the way to Red Lotus Hell, all the prisoners were released by you. What a fool. I will let you know the price of doing this. Magellan spit out a huge mouthful of venom without saying a word, and instantly enveloped the prisoners on the second basement floor who were so complacent. Ah! The prisoner couldn't breathe, and was directly poisoned, foaming at the mouth, and immediately fell to the ground. The prisoners on the second basement floor immediately ran back. Ling Fan and the others were also very puzzled when they saw the prisoner who came back. Magellan is coming. Run. So that's the case. No wonder, they will be scared away. Ling Fan was not worried at all, looked at the golden lion beside him and asked, "Don't worry. Magellan will be handed over to me. Magellan intends to block us on the basement floor, so a considerable number of troops should be deployed, and the rest will be handed over to you," Ling Fan said. Okay, Lord Wolverine, everyone responded. Then everyone finally went to Red Lotus Hell. At this time, Magellan glanced around and was a little nervous. The Golden Lion, the Red Earl, everyone in Infinite Hell. What's going on? These legendary pirates are actually surrounded by this man in the middle. Who is he? One Piece King. At this time, Magellan was very panicked, not to mention his strength as a general. Even if he surpassed the general, so what? These people in front of him are all giant crocodiles in the sea. Who are you? Why did you escape? Magellan asked. Me, you don't know me anymore. Ling Fan asked. I don't seem to have seen you. Who are you? Why haven't I seen you in Infinite Hell? Other hells don't seem to have any impression of you. Magellan is also very embarrassed at this time. Suddenly, Magellan thought that a new prisoner came to Infinity Hell today, who is said to be able to transform into other people. Could it be you? It's Ling Fan. Magellan was also surprised to guess. Papa. Ling Fan immediately smiled and clapped his hands and said, "It's really smart." As expected of Magellan, the director of the City of Advancement. But I don't have any rewards for you, if you insist. I'll give you a big face, right? Big face. Before Magellan could understand what it meant, a pair of hard metal claws protruded from the bones of Ling Fan's hands. Want to fight with me? Magellan also stared at Ling Fan and asked, "Are you serious? If you are really Ling Fan, you are definitely not my opponent. The report said that you sank 10 warships and severely injured Kuzan by using self-destruct. But I am different from Kuzan. My strength is stronger than him. You will never be my opponent." Magellan is also quite confident. At this time, his strength is sure to beat Kuzan. There's no point in selling yourself and boasting. It's the so-called truth. I want to see how powerful I am, Wolverine. Are you, Magellan? Ling Fan responded to all changes without changing, and did not make any moves at this time, just waiting for Magellan to attack actively. At this time, Magellan was no longer hiding. He looked at Ling Fan and said, "Okay. Since you don't know how to live or die, then don't blame me for being merciless." Poison pufferfish. Magellan spit out a large number of poisonous balls, and Ling Fan knew that as long as he touched these poisonous balls, he would be poisoned immediately. However, the animal intuition and perception ability far surpassed ordinary people, so that Ling Fan completely avoided all the poisonous balls. Could it be that he is domineering? He was able to avoid my poisonous pufferfish. How rich is Magellan's combat experience? After seeing that Ling Fan was able to dodge his own poisonous pufferfish, he was naturally ready to get closer and use moves that he couldn't dodge. Poison channel. Magellan burst out a large amount of venom all over his body, and then used his own burst of poison to turn into a slide, and then quickly rushed towards Ling Fan. That's great. A mage dares to play close combat with me. Ling Fan immediately jumped and slashed out with his Edelman metal claws. Magellan had a look of disbelief. After all, a normal human can jump a few meters, which is considered a superhuman physique. However, Ling Fan jumped more than 10 meters at once, and the attack can no longer be avoided. Since you plan to exchange injuries with me. How naive. Magellan is very confident. After all, as long as he has a little bit of poison in him, the battle will be considered a victory. Magellan also plans to save his energy to fight other sea legends. If they delay their naval support, the mission will be considered completed. Poison cloud. Magellan resisted Ling Fan's attack, and released a highly poisonous cloud. Once touched by this poisonous cloud, he would temporarily lose his 5 senses. Of course, the ideal is plump, but the reality is skinny. Magellan never expected that Ling Fan's attack would be so powerful. With a sound of crash, Magellan was completely cut open from the front of the director's suit. The wound was very deep, and the sharp claws completely cut Magellan's flesh, almost causing serious injuries to Magellan. Scary. Such sharp claws. Magellan was also sweating profusely, but Ling Fan was surrounded by Magellan's poisonous fog because he was obsessed with attacking Magellan. Ha ha ha, your claws are really powerful. And it's almost like a Superman. But I also said that you plan to exchange injuries with me. That's called naivety. I'm a poisonous man who ate poisonous fruit. As long as you get a little bit of my poison, you will be immobilized immediately. I have already won this competition. Next, I will stop the riots of the prisoners. Magellan took a rope and tied it to his clothes, barely showing a smile. However, at this moment, a voice almost scared Magellan to death. What did you just say? Say it again, I didn't hear it. What? Magellan showed an extremely shocked expression. He raised his head and found a strong figure walking towards him in the poisonous mist. That sturdy figure is naturally Ling Fan, who transformed into a wolverine. At this time, Magellan shouted in disbelief, Impossible. Impossible. If you were poisoned by me, you wouldn't die on the spot. You would also be unable to move. I am a poisoner. Could it be that you prepared some antidote in advance? What is the antidote? I don't understand. Ling Fan shook his head. HMPH. Impossible. There must be something wrong. You can't be poisoned by me and still stand here safe and sound. Poison dragon. After Magellan finished shouting, a large amount of blue venom was produced on his body, and the venom slowly condensed immediately, turning into 3 huge dragon shapes. The dragon-shaped poison is very terrifying. It is said that as long as it is stained with a little bit, it will be immediately corroded by the toxin. Whoosh! The dragon-shaped poison rushed towards Ling Fan. Naturally, Ling Fan didn't intend to sit still and started running immediately. At the same time, Magellan also controlled the poisonous dragon and chased Ling Fan. Still running, Magellan narrowed his eyes slightly. His heart was already sure. 2 poisonous dragons, one behind the other, forced Ling Fan into a dilemma. The 3rd poisonous dragon descended from the sky, and Ling Fan had nowhere to hide anymore. Reluctantly, Ling Fan crossed his hands, intending to use his claws and body to carry it hard, but Ling Fan was soon buried in the poisonous dragon. Ah! Ling Fan yelled. His voice sounded very miserable. Ha ha ha, you're so naive. Didn't I tell you? As long as you get a little bit contaminated, you will be corroded by toxins. If you don't have an antidote, you probably won't be able to escape the fate of death. At this time, Magellan also had an expression of winning. What are you doing? Chasing me with 3 dragons. This thing is water. I don't like water. You see, my whole body is wet. It's really uncomfortable. Ling Fan was also a little angry. Indeed, Magellan made him feel bad. His whole body was covered with venom. Who can feel better? What's the matter with you? You were clearly hit head-on by my poisonous dragon. Even if you take the antidote directly, it won't make any sense. This toxin can corrode your body. Why? Magellan felt that he was about to explode at this moment. No matter how powerful he used his attack, he still couldn't cause any damage to Ling Fan. Do you know why? Your poison is useless, Ling Fan asked. Why? Magellan was also quite curious. Because I am Wolverine. I Wolverine and Tionk you Magellan, Ling Fan said very proudly. What Wolverine? What are you talking about? Why can't I understand at all? What Tionk? Magellan was still in a state of shock, so naturally he couldn't understand Ling Fan's meaning. Who is Wolverine? That is the X-Men with the self-healing ability visible to the naked eye. The super self-healing ability prevents any toxins and anesthetics from producing effects in the body for more than a few seconds. Even the speed at which toxins corrode Ling Fan is not as fast as Ling Fan's self-healing speed. You don't understand after I said it. Anyway, your poison has no effect on me. If you don't believe me, you can try it. I'm just bored right now, but please don't use liquid poison. It makes me drenched and I'm very uncomfortable, Ling Fan said. This Magellan is a little embarrassed at this time. Don't worry, I will never take the opportunity to hit you, I just want to verify my ability. Ling Fan raised his hands high, making an appearance that he would not fight back. Magellan was also muttering in his heart. How could there be such a person? You even took the initiative to let me use poison to attack. Humph, even if you are immune to corrosive liquid poison, I don't believe that you can stop breathing. This time, you must ensure that you inhale a lot of poisonous gas. No matter how powerful you are, you can't resist the toxins in your body. Magellan then used his devil fruit power again. Poison gas bomb. Magellan spit out a large amount of poison gas from his mouth, and the tear gas immediately surrounded Ling Fan. This time Magellan's attack lasted as long as 1 minute. The poisonous gas naturally completely enveloped Ling Fan. Small sample. I don't believe it. This time you are safe and sound. Although Magellan was very sure, he was not sure in his heart whether Ling Fan would fall to the ground. Magellan was very cautious and focused on the poisonous gas mist. He didn't know how long it took before the poisonous mist dissipated. Magellan could guarantee that Ling Fan had already breathed, otherwise it would be impossible for ordinary people to stay for so long. A figure fell to the ground. Magellan finally confirmed that it was Ling Fan, and almost didn't jump up. Magellan said excitedly, Finally! Finally! This guy has finally knocked out my poison gas. Now I can finally deal with other pirates. Wait a minute. Ling Fan, who had fallen into the poisonous gas, stood up again, patted the dirt on his body, and said, It's not that easy for me to be poisoned by you. As I said, I, Wolverine, can beat you. Tenka Magellan probably understood the meaning. By the way, I want to return a sentence to you, and you actually plan to exchange injuries with me. How naive. After Ling Fan finished speaking, he pointed to the wound on Magellan's stomach. At this time, Magellan had gone through a series of battles, and naturally a lot of blood flowed from the wound on the belly mountain. It seems that there is no time for a protracted battle. You seem to have the ability to be immune to venom. Since I can't hold you back, I can only use this trick. This trick is not an ordinary poison. It will instantly corrode your life. As long as you touch it, you will die without a place to die. This move is also my strongest move. If this move can't cause any damage to you, then you win. At this time, Magellan put on a serious expression, releasing a toxin all over his body. This toxin is completely different from the previous purple toxin. This trick is a specially made bright red toxin. It is said that any substance that comes into contact with it will be infected and gradually spread to corrode everything. As long as one touches this poison, it will spread to the whole body and then die. Giant of Poison, Judgment of Hell. Magellan shouted loudly. The red poison had already transformed into a huge skeleton soldier, and the skeleton soldier also raised his huge left hand in a fit of rage, and slapped it down. Just listening to boom, Magellan's attack hit the ground. The range of this move is huge, and many pirates around were accidentally killed directly. What a terrifying strength. Director Magellan. He is the strongest in the city. Prisoners, you will never get out. The jailers and guards have already run away. They know that this move is the strongest move of Director Magellan. So just use it out. No matter who it is impossible to retreat completely. Come on, Director. Many pirates immediately dodged backwards, but only one person not only did not retreat, but faced up to the difficulties. This person is naturally Ling Fan. Ling Fan's eyes were very firm. At this time, the corners of his mouth were raised, and he said with a fearless expression that everything was under control, Magellan. I've said it. I'm not afraid of any poison. Anything. Then you have a try. Magellan raised his hand once again to control the poison giant. Judgment from Hell. Let's see who is more powerful. Ling Fan also sprinted and jumped, and the Edelman metal claws in his hand also tore down desperately. Boom. In the end, the poisonous giant's attack completely overwhelmed Ling Fan, but Ling Fan's claws at the last moment also hit Magellan. Clatter la la la. The huge body of the poisonous giant turned into poisonous water and fell down. Magellan could no longer control his broken body, and fell to the ground with a bang. Ling Fan clapped his hands again at this time. Clap clap clap. If it wasn't for me not being afraid of poison, I should have lost to you. Probably. Ling Fan then turned around domineeringly. Director, director, director. The jailers and guards all showed expressions of disbelief, and Magellan, the invincible supporter of their invincible walls, actually fell down. Block me, block, everyone. Perhaps influenced by Chief Magellan, the morale of all the guards rose again. Lion Power Earth Scroll. Poo oh poo. The big pirates under Ling Fan easily defeated Magellan's men one by one. The Red Lotus Hell on the ground floor was completely unobstructed. After the prisoners of the Red Lotus Hell were released, everyone continued to rush to the ground floor. Let's go. Let's break out of prison together. Turn the sea upside down. Magellan fell, which represented the obstacle that could block Ling Fan's escape from prison, and it completely disappeared. Everyone quickly crossed the Red Lotus Hell and came to the ground floor. There were no more prisoners on the ground floor, and some were just guards and jailers. Although there were a large number of them, they couldn't make any waves in front of Ling Fan and the others. The mission is almost complete. Just get out of this city. Just get out of here. You can go find Zoro and Robin. I hope they are fine. With hope in mind, Ling Fan led the pirates, but was intercepted by an unexpected person. Well, go back. I won't say it a second time. The person in front of him is Hannibal. He is holding his own fork at this time. Although he is usually unreliable, Hannibal still stood up despite the disparity in strength. Interesting person. Ling Fan praised. Ling Fan told the legendary big pirate, "Don't kill this guy, save his life, we're going to escape from prison soon, don't let him waste our time." After Ling Fan finished speaking, those powerful subordinates naturally took the initiative to charge forward. Hannibal was not very strong in the first place, but now it is still 20 years ago in the original book, so it is naturally weaker. Just relying on those pirates, Hannibal was knocked unconscious, and finally Hannibal was firmly tied. All the jailer beasts, blue orangutans, wardens, director, deputy director, warden, etc. All in all, at this moment, everyone in the city has been defeated. Looking at the gate on the first floor of the promotion city, Ling Fan immediately said, "Brothers, rush out of the promotion city with me." Okay, because all the prisoners were rescued, the number was tens of thousands. The menacing prisoners all followed Ling Fan and rushed forward recklessly. They were like wild horses running wild, and immediately sprinted towards the other shore of freedom. Pooh! Ling Fan used the X-cut, pushed the gate of the city with a bang, and was cut into countless pieces, and then with a boom, he was knocked open by the younger brothers with their bodies. Ling Fan finally led the prisoners to escape from the city, but the rest was not so easy. Since the accident took place on the 6th floor underground, Infinite Hell, Magellan and Hannibal naturally notified the Navy and the world government early. Originally, there were several naval warships outside the advancing city, but now there are more, and there are more than 10 ships at this moment. It's over. How could this be? I finally escaped from the city of Advance, but I didn't expect that the Navy has already surrounded it heavily. We don't have a boat, how do we get out of here? Those little pirates who were not strong enough fell into fear one after another. What are you worried about? Our side has a legend above the sea. Yes, our current strength is already the strongest in the world. The most vicious pirates in the world are gathering here now, what else do we need to be afraid of? Some pirates are fearful, some are confident, and some are just silent. Relying on his long-sightedness ability, Ling Fan has almost observed the battle of the Navy. It seems that the Navy is quite concerned about this matter, and even dispatched a lineup even more exaggerated than the demon-slaying order. However, this is also good. The more violent this incident is, the happier I am. Because the divine plan once said that the more influential events are triggered, the more powerful superheroes will be rewarded. Ling Fan hopes that the entire Navy will come to encircle and suppress Ling Fan, and then Ling Fan will completely kill him. In this way, mission accomplished. Naturally, you will get the opportunity to transform into a superhero again. The Navy obviously has a loudspeaker phone bug, and then issued a notice to Ling Fan and others. Prisoners in Advance City. This is the last warning. If you all turn around and return to your own cells, we will not blame you for this escape. But if you continue to stay where you are, then kill unforgiven. The voice of the speaker changed, and Ling Fan saw the appearance of the whole person at a glance. Wearing a hat with Navy characters on it, you can tell by his face that he has a very bad temper. So that's it, it's the future Admiral Akainu. It seems that he is the leader this time. Ling Fan also smiled. He knew that Sakazuki insisted on absolute justice, and to put it bluntly, he could destroy everything for the benefit of himself and the Navy. When O'Hara's refuge ship was full of people who had nothing to do with scholars, and there were many children, Sakazuki didn't even have any emotional fluctuations, and directly ordered the destruction of the refuge ship, which was enough to show this guy's stubbornness. Is there any plan? Lord Wolverine, said the surrounding naval powerhouses. I don't have any plans. Everything I do now is just what my little master asked me to do. Ling Fan said. Little Master is really a powerful character. Unexpectedly, even the Navy came to round up us and guessed it. The pirates all vaguely felt that this Little Master was extraordinary. Then Ling Fan thought for a while and said, the Navy should use artillery shells to attack us first, but we can't waste time. This place is very close to the Gate of Justice. The Navy can quickly reinforce it through the triangular current. We must leave here before the Navy's reinforcements arrive. Otherwise, we will not be able to escape. Next, we need to find a way to log on to the Navy's warship. Then soldiers will fight against soldiers, will fight against generals. Let's fight a bloody road. We can leave after snatching a warship. Ling Fan expressed it very clearly, and the other pirates also felt that there was no problem after hearing it. But how should we get there? There aren't any warships here, so is it possible for us to swim there? Yes, some people have devil fruit abilities. After encountering water, they will cool down. Golden Lion, I'm sorry to trouble you. Ling Fan said. Senior, you really know my ability very well. I can use the ability of fluttering fruit to make certain objects float directly, but we have too many people and there is nothing around. Let me make it float up. Ling Fan nodded and said, I know, so that's why I want to snatch the warship. If we squeeze together, we will definitely be able to stay in a large warship. Untie it, and you are responsible for letting this piece of ground fly over. Our powerful pirates can just go there. Other pirates can enter the advancing city to take refuge. After the matter is completed, we will come to pick you up. Ling Fan's arrangement is very good. While speaking, he stretched out his adamantium alloy claws, and then neatly cut the ground into a cube shape. World Breaker Bundy Valdo, Golden Lion Shaki, Douglas Barrett, Red Earl, Patrick Redfield. Ling Fan clicked on the names of these 4 people. Once the names of these 4 people were pronounced, the whole pirates were shocked. I don't have a problem with Shiji who wanted to escape from prison. It can be said that he has the same goals as Zero Fan. Both of them hate the Navy and the world government, so Shiji directly agreed to Zero Fan's invitation to fight. And Valdo, the World Destroyer, was originally imprisoned in the form of frozen suspended animation in the advancing city. It was Ling Fan who rescued him, and naturally agreed to Ling Fan's invitation to fight. As for Barrett and the Red Earl, they are also very powerful, but they like to work alone, so they didn't answer Ling Fan in such a hurry. I know that you are all strong men at sea, but I saved you and defeated Magellan. Are you thinking of helping me? Ling Fan didn't threaten the 2 of them. Okay, we can do one thing for you. The 2 strong men said. These fools, how dare you ignore the Navy's warning? Lieutenant General Sakazuki's face sank. His tolerance for the evil pirates was almost 0, so he gave the order to attack without hesitation. Boom, huge shells began to shoot towards the city. Then the cannonballs on the other warships also fired towards the city. At this time, the weak pirates who pushed forward to the city were startled. Let's hide in the promotion city first. Next we will make the Navy look good. Ling Fan's eyes narrowed. With the company of these masters, Ling Fan's confidence has become a lot stronger. After all, he still doesn't know how to arm himself. It is not that simple to deal with natural magma fruits like Akainu Sakazuki. Countless cannonballs hit, Ling Fan naturally dropped his claws, and the cannonballs were caught into pieces by the sharp claws. The Red Earl swung the sword in his hand and knocked down countless shells at an extremely fast speed. The sword energy scattered and even formed a wall of energy. Let the shells only fall into the sea advancing outside the city. Bondivaldo, the world destroyer, naturally did his part, and the shells that fell around him were all blown away by him. As for Barrett and the Golden Lion, let alone, using the armed color and fruit ability, all the shells were quickly and completely cleaned up. So strong. All the pirates were very excited. After all, the people in front of them are legends of the sea. Golden Lion, are you ready? Ling Fan asked. No problem. The Golden Lion made an okay gesture, and then stood on the ground cut by Ling Fan. The Golden Lion used his ability to float the fruit, and that piece of ground floated in the air in an instant. Come up, Ling Fan invited. Immediately afterwards, countless pirates boarded the floating ground, and then the ground quickly flew towards the Navy's warship. This is the Golden Lion. This is the ability of the Piao Piao fruit of the Golden Lion. They must be stopped. Don't let the Golden Lion touch the warship. Although Sakazuki ordered it like this, the Navy definitely couldn't do it, because the Golden Lion is a legendary pirate. Sakazuki opened his eyes wide afterward, and trembled slightly in disbelief. He clearly saw that there were some equally terrifying people on the floating stone slab. World Destroyer, the Red Earl, and Barrett. My God, these are legendary pirates who are famous in the sea. It was the first time Sakazuki was so flustered since he took office as the Lieutenant General of the headquarters. Not to mention the general level, even the 4 emperors and the One Piece level are not necessarily opponents of the opponent. Go to the headquarters and ask for support, Sakazuki said anxiously. Report to Lieutenant General Sakazuki. General Sengoku has arrived. He told you to stand up. A naval liaison soldier said. I don't know if I can stand up. Who is that guy? Sakazuki pointed to the ground floating in the air, and asked a man with a pretty beard, a leather jacket, and 6 metal claws on his hands. Our Naval Intelligence Department doesn't seem to have any information about that guy, but according to Hannibal Warden's detailed report, this guy seems to be called Wolverine. Wolverine. Sakazuki found that Wolverine was the leader of this group of legends at sea, and he also found it a bit inconceivable. At this time, only hearing the sound of boom, Ling Fan and others who were originally floating in the air had already landed on the deck of the Navy warship. HMPH. Poor Navy. Kill you all. Lion waffle roll. Taste my sword skills. Domineering and domineering. In front of my fruit ability. You are nothing. In front of the legendary pirates, these marines are like chickens and dogs. Once, just a demon-slaying order made Ling Fan feel powerless. Regarding Vice Admiral Kuzan, Ling Fan also felt that he could not match at all. But now it's different. As the transformation ability increases again and again, Ling Fan can transform into some more powerful heroes. Wolverine can overthrow Magellan, not to mention the more powerful heroes behind. At this time, more than a dozen naval warships were hit by the pirates, and the Rear Admiral and the Vice Admiral were all struggling to resist the pirates who invaded their warships. At this time, Ling Fan also chose his opponent. Of course, the future Admiral, Akainu Sakazuki. Sakazuki, I'm here to take your life, Ling Fan said. Sakazuki looked at Ling Fan and asked, who are you? Me, you ask who I am. I'm Wolverine, Human Torch, Captain America, Zero Fan. Ling Fan directly revealed his identity, and Sakazuki understood it later. So that's it, you are a transforming person with the ability to transform. This makes sense. I won't be merciless like Kuzan. I will kill you. You will never suffer from future troubles. Go to Ling Fan. Sakazuki's body burst into flames, and some lava could be seen faintly. I am a magma man of the natural magma fruit. The son of the devil. Are you ready for justice? Sakazuki claimed to be the party of justice, and Ling Fan couldn't help but want to laugh. Sikalski, stop talking nonsense. Ling Fan didn't intend to talk nonsense with Sikalski, so he just jumped and caught him. The sharp Edelman claws in his hand immediately penetrated Sakazuki's body. However, at this time, Sikalski did not have any fluctuations, because he had already used elementalization to convert himself into magma. On the contrary, after Ling Fan attacked, he was immediately ignited by Sikalski's lava. Ling Fan was in great pain, and his whole body was burned immediately. Ling Fan used the sharp claw of the other hand to grab Sakazuki again, and then forced Sakazuki back. Hey, Sakazuki sneered and said, you guys don't seem to be domineering. Even if you have special abilities, you will definitely not be my opponent. However, in the next second, Sakazuki was stunned and showed an expression of disbelief. At this time, Ling Fan's body, which had just been burned by the lava, began to heal itself at a speed visible to the naked eye. The speed of Ling Fan's self-healing is really too fast. In less than 5 seconds, the skin trauma just received has completely recovered. What's going on here? You actually have the ability to regenerate at a super speed. Couldn't you be the one who defeated Magellan with this? It's such a troublesome ability. Sakazuki's face also showed a trace of embarrassment. Ling Fan's ability was beyond his expectation. Even if you can heal yourself, it shouldn't be possible to recover after receiving a fairly heavy blow. Everything has a limit. As long as I destroy you all, then your death will not be far away. Sakazuki also sneered and squinted at Ling Fan. Ha, Sakazuki, you can try it. Ling Fan was not afraid of Sakazuki in front of him at all. The most amazing thing about the Wolverine transformed by Ling Fan is that it can survive the direct impact of nuclear bombs, the surface of the sun, and magma. Although Sakazuki in front of him is a powerful natural magma fruit ability user, he just has his own ability and is restrained by Ling Fan. Having said that, Ling Fan can't hurt people with natural abilities, and the two are very fair on this point. Devil Dog. Sakazuki raised his hand and used his devil fruit ability. His arm turned into lava and rushed towards Ling Fan at an extremely fast speed. Although Ling Fan can heal himself, he will not be passively beaten on the spot. Wolverine, who has super perception, is very sensitive to all changes around him. Ling Fan quickly dodged Sakazuki's ghost dog, which made Sakazuki look surprised again. My move is very fast. It's powerful. Since you don't know how to be domineering, how can you dodge it? Sakazuki was a little confused. He guessed that Ling Fan had already mastered the domineering power of knowledge, but Ling Fan really didn't know how to be armed. Do you care if I know it or not? You're blind. If I were armed and domineering, I would have punched you out. Ling Fan angrily yelled at Sakazuki, and Sakazuki's expression changed again. As expected of a devil. You'd better keep your mouth shut forever. Sakazuki was obviously more angry, and his arm immediately turned into lava, and then turned the lava into the shape of a dog's head. Sakazuki stretched his lava-formed limbs and attacked Ling Fan, and the dog head made of lava rushed towards Ling Fan frantically. Ha! Ling Fan shouted, and then completely covered his head with his arms. HMPH. Idiot, you actually want to take this move head-on. My move, even if Whitebeard comes. It is absolutely impossible to take it head-on. Sakazuki said very confidently. Sakazuki's magma fruit is indeed very powerful, so every time he uses this trick, it means the end of the battle. At this time, the corners of Sakazuki's mouth have slightly raised to welcome the victory. Boom! The dog's head completely penetrated Ling Fan's body, and a big hole appeared in Ling Fan's abdomen instantly. It's inside. No way. That's it. Is that the spine? It turned out to be a metal spine. Sakazuki gasped, and Sakazuki saw Ling Fan's metal spine. Because Ling Fan at this time has changed into Logan, the bones of Logan's whole body have been poured into high-temperature adamantium alloy in Project X, and now the bones of the whole body have been replaced by cooled adamantium metal. What was shocking was not only that, Sakazuki soon discovered that the flesh and blood in the place where Ling Fan's abdomen had been pierced by himself began to quickly connect together, and the pierced internal organs also quickly began to heal. Less than half a minute later, Ling Fan returned to his perfect state. This Sakazuki is a little suspicious of life. At this moment, he has an urge to jump off the warship. He has never met an opponent with such a terrifying self-healing ability. This is what I should do. No matter how powerful the attack I use to penetrate this guy's body, he can heal extremely quickly in the end. I can't figure it out at all. Sakazuki also wanted to kill Ling Fan at this time, but he didn't know how to kill him, and fell into a dilemma. At this time, Ling Fan knew that the time was almost up, and with a very powerful pounce, like a wild beast, he threw Sakazuki's whole body in an instant, because Ling Fan's speed was so fast that even Sakazuki didn't react. Sakazuki naturally turned into an element immediately, but Ling Fan didn't expect that after Sakazuki jumped, he jumped directly and jumped to other warships. Run away. Sakazuki hadn't reacted yet. Don't even think about escaping. Although he couldn't cause effective damage to the enemy, Sakazuki would not let Ling Fan go so easily. Ling Fan's purpose is not to defeat Sakazuki. Sakazuki is only a lieutenant general of the Navy headquarters now. Even if he is defeated, it will not cause any major incidents. Besides, Ling Fan is not armed, so he can't cause any effective damage at all. Ling Fan observed those masters from a distance, and found that the other warships were almost destroyed, but they deliberately left one warship, so Ling Fan immediately used his superhuman jumping ability to quickly shift his strategy. After Ling Fan arrived, the Golden Lion Shiji immediately activated his fluttering fruit ability, and then a miraculous scene happened. This huge naval warship actually floated just like that. Momo Fruit. Bondavaldo regards Momo Fruit ability users, who can magnify their own speed, the speed and volume of objects they touch, by 1 to 100 times. He activated his fruit ability, and the flying speed of the entire warship immediately reached a peak, and it came to the side of the city in an instant. Come up, evacuate, Ling Fan shouted, and the weak pirates were all grateful to see Ling Fan not abandoning them, and then quickly started boarding. Although most of the navy and warships were killed by the strong, Sakazuki was very paranoid. Even if he was the only one, it was impossible for the prisoners in the city to escape without restraint. Sakazuki's face sank like water, and his heart was already extremely angry. Ling Fan and others had already made him completely angry. Go to hell, despicable pirates and prisoners, you must pay for your actions. He raised his fists high and aimed at the sky, and then his fists turned into hot lava. Instantly, a large number of huge lava fists burst into the air. Then the magma fist, like a meteor shower, quickly fell from the sky. Meteor volcano. The warship leaning against the city of Advance was naturally Sakazuki's target. Look at me. In order to cover the pirates, Ling Fan immediately jumped up, stretching out his claws. Just listening to the two piercing voices of shoo shoo, the huge magma fist will be cut into several pieces by Ling Fan. At the same time, Barrett was armed all over his body, and he waved his arms bravely, and those magma punches were also blasted by him. The Red Earl picked up his umbrella and quickly cut through the sky, and the countless magma punches were divided into multiple ones. Lion Thousand Cut Valley. Golden Lion also showed off his sword skills, and Sakazuki's ultimate move was broken so easily. At this time, the pirates are also completely logged in. Then the Golden Lion drove the warship to fly into the air again. With the blessing of Momo Fruit, everyone gradually moved away from the windless city. Sakazuki felt extremely regretful, and immediately dialed the number of Sengoku. General of the Warring States. The enemy has already escaped. Since then, push all the prisoners in the city to save successfully. The mission of the big event was completely completed, but before Ling Fan communicated with the sacred plan in his hand, the pirates on the warship suddenly started making noise. What's going on? Ling Fan asked immediately. Barrett. Ling Fan saw that Barrett was killing those very weak pirates at this time. However, the big pirates around did not stop them. Barrett, what are you doing? Ling Fan asked. No reason, we said that we will help you escape from the city, but we didn't say that after escaping, you will become your subordinate. This guy said a few more words, and I will solve him. Is there a problem? Barrett speaks very arrogantly. He used to be Roger's subordinate of One Piece, and later, he made up his mind to kill all the powerful people in the world, including the 4 emperors and admirals. Now he is also the first one to sing a different tune. It can be said that it is normal. Barrett, I really regret saving you. Ling Fan said. The Edelman metal claws in his hand had already been stretched out. After my observation, you don't even have a domineering face. You just rely on the metal claws on your hands. In front of me, you are nothing. Barrett immediately erupted an astonishing aura from his whole body. This aura was so powerful that people present could only fall down. Overlord color domineering. Ling Fan naturally knew what it was. Barrett could freely control the Overlord color domineering, and the armed color can also cover the whole body. As expected of the successor to the power of ghosts. The strength is indeed very strong. Ling Fan couldn't help but praise, but because Ling Fan has Edelman metal bones and a self-healing body, the whole person is not overwhelmed by this monstrous momentum. At this time, the Golden Lion is flying with its own fruit ability, and the World Destroyer is also driving the warship to fly quickly. The Red Earl doesn't like to stand in line. The rest of the pirates are waiting and watching. This battle can be said to be inevitable. If Ling Fan succeeds, he will undoubtedly become the leader of this wave of pirates. However, on the contrary, everyone will become Barrett's subordinates. After all, power is king in this world. Activate the super transformation form. Ling Fan suddenly shouted at the divine plan at this moment. Choose Captain America Rogers. Choose Thunderbolt Johnny. Choose Wolverine Logan. Ling Fan chose 3 superheroes in a row, and the divine plan immediately replied, 3 kinds of heroes. The fusion is complete. Start to merge. The voice of the divine plan can only be heard by Ling Fan, and during the fusion and transformation, everyone else is in a gray and white frozen state. Therefore, Ling Fan has transformed the 3 superheroes after fusion. Transformation after fusion will have the ability of 3 kinds of heroes. All abilities and attributes between them will be superimposed. Immediately afterwards, Ling Fan began to change. Not only his body began to change, but even his clothes were entangled in changes again. Ling Fan's whole body was wrapped in flames, a shield appeared on his right hand, and 3 metal claws appeared on his left hand, which was considered as one of the 3. The existence of Wolverine, who is almost immortal, plus the so-called American team. Add the Human Torch from the Fantastic Four at the end. It can be said that Ling Fan not only has Edelman alloy claws, another Edelman alloy shield, invincible between offense and defense. It also has long-range lethality. After the transformation, Barrett was a little surprised to see Ling Fan. What? It's different again, Ling Fan replied. Yes, in order to deal with you, I used some real power a little bit. Pretending to be a ghost. Barrett's whole body was covered with the most advanced armed color, and then he approached Ling Fan at an extremely fast speed, and then punched him. Naturally, Ling Fan quickly raised the shield in his hand. At this time, the shield also had flames, which not only defended the enemy, but also burned the enemy. Boom! Barrett hit Captain America's shield with a punch, and a powerful counter shock immediately knocked him back several times. He didn't expect that when he punched seriously, he was completely taken down by this shield. How is it possible? Even a shield mixed with sea stones is impossible to be so hard. Your shield is not made of pure sea stones, is it? Barrett asked. Then I don't know. Ling Fan then threw out the shield in his hand. Although Barrett used his armed force to bear the attack of the shield, he was still knocked into the air by Ling Fan's huge force. So strong. Ling Fan's power is so great. What kind of shield is this? It's so indestructible. This battle is really exciting. The miscellaneous fish pirates have already fallen down, and the pirates who can still stand up are also excited to see it. Who wins this battle? The final result is not so important to them. The most important thing is that they need to quietly and carefully enjoy the process of this game. Hush! Ling Fan released countless fireballs, and Barrett knocked the fireballs into the air with one punch, and then Ling Fan flew up with his shield again. The two of them were like playing balls. The fireballs flew faster and faster, and eventually the fireballs exploded directly. Taking advantage of the explosion of the fireball, Ling Fan's subsequent attacks immediately made up for it. Ling Fan used his shield to protect, while quickly rushing towards Barrett. I don't believe it. You can always hide behind your own shield. Devil mode. Barrett switched to devil mode, his domineering and ghostly aura emerged, and his strength was greatly improved. Immediately afterwards, Barrett raised his hand and shouted, "The strongest fist." Ling Fan rushed to Barrett with all his strength, and Ling Fan also rushed to Barrett with all his strength, and finally the two collided together, boom. There was a loud impact sound, and the two spit out blood at the same time. How could it be so hard? Barrett said in shock. Ling Fan sighed in the same way. As expected of Barrett, the strongest punch in the devil mode is powerful. Immediately afterwards, the rapid self-healing ability made Ling Fan fully recover. Continue. Barrett, I haven't used my attack yet. After Ling Fan finished speaking, huge flames erupted all over his body. Barrett was very vigilant and continued to maintain the devil mode, then retracted his fist, and finally Barrett punched out. Boom! Ling Fan threw out his shield again, and Barrett knocked it into the air in a circle, and then a claw that shone brightly poked over under the cover of the shield. Not good. Barrett wanted to dodge, but found that he was too late. How is it possible? This guy's reaction speed. The sensing ability is so strong. Barrett was shocked, and was instantly hit by Ling Fan's Edelman metal claw. PFF'd. With a sound, Ling Fan's Edelman metal claws actually sank into Barrett's body. It's impossible. Barrett looked in disbelief at my armed look, and then spat out a mouthful of blood. Not only Barrett didn't believe it, but the other pirates also couldn't believe it. A person who doesn't know how to use domineering at all, just relying on strength and his own alloy claws, broke the armed domineering user standing at the top of the pirate world. This is simply a matter of ruining the three views. How strong is Barrett's armed color? One punch can directly blast Luffy's 4th level Snake Man. In the theatrical version, Barrett's armed color, Luffy also relied on the help of many strong people to break Barrett's armed color. However, the situation in front of him is that Ling Fan superimposed the US team and Wolverine, and pierced Barrett's body with Edelman's metal claws. Your claws. No wonder even the railing of Halushi can be cut into several pieces. It is probably the hardest thing in the world. It needs to be replaced. Barrett also smiled mysteriously, and then fell to the ground. This guy is too strong. Ling Fan didn't feel the pleasure of defeating Barrett. Compared with those who had fought before, Ling Fan was sure that Barrett's strength was at least at the general level. This time, Ling Fan also took advantage of the superposition of the divine plan, and the most important thing was to rely on Edelman alloy. Is there anyone else? Ling Fan aggressively scanned the entire warship. There were still people standing on the deck. At this time, another person also raised his hand actively. Mr. Ling Fan, thank you for saving your life, but I still want to fight you. The person who spoke was the Red Earl, who was on the same level as Roger Whitebeard and others. The Red Earl is also known as the Lonely Red, with a tall and thin figure. His white hair is braided into 2 braids hanging on his shoulders. He wears a plum red shirt and blood red trousers, black leather shoes with gold trim on his feet, and a large blood red cloak with a plaid pattern inside, a blue rose around his neck, and a slender umbrella with a bat handle in his hand. The eyebrows are crimson, a gold chain is hung on the mouth, and the corners of the mouth are slightly raised, revealing a wicked smile. What, Redfield, are you going to fight me too? Ling Fan asked. Yes, the battle just now made my blood burn. I want to learn from you, and I am very curious about your inner thoughts. The Red Earl said. The Red Earl has the world's most knowledgeable domineering, and can easily read other people's memories. The Red Earl also has extremely fast speed, and the world's top swordsmanship. He is a steady and strong 4 emperors. Are you sure you want to fight me? There's no point in fighting between us. Ling Fan really wanted to fight the Red Earl too much, because the Red Earl's purpose was very simple, which was to compete with Ling Fan, but Barrett really wanted to kill him, and the nature was different. Yes, it doesn't make any sense. No matter whether you win or lose, I will leave this place. The Red Earl said. What's the point of that? Don't fight anymore. Ling Fan shook his head. Then what if I insist on fighting? The Red Earl asked with a wicked smile. Then I won't fight, unless you promise me some conditions. Ling Fan is not a martial idiot. He wants to fight anyone he sees. There is no benefit, so he is not willing to bother. You can come up with the conditions, said the Red Earl. How about this? If I win, you promise me 3 things, and if I lose, I promise you 3 things. What do you think? Ling Fan asked. No problem. The Red Earl nodded. Then wait a moment. Ling Fan then raised his wrist up, and immediately said, Holy plan, how about it? Is there a chance to draw a new hero? Quote. Test it. The test was successful. You have successfully led all the prisoners to escape from the City of Advancement. You have defeated Chief Magellan. You also repelled the encirclement of the Navy, and escaped successfully under the command of Lieutenant General Sokolsky. From now on, we will randomly draw for you among the 3 superheroes. First place, Black Widow. Second place, Hulk. Third place, Quicksilver. Ling Fan immediately prayed. The Widow sister is very good looking, but it is useless to me now. Don't be the Widow sister. Just choose between the other 2. If the current Ling Fan has superimposed the power of the Hulk, it is estimated that he does not need any armed color at all, and he can knock Barrett away with just 1 punch. If you merge with the Hulk, then you don't need to be so troublesome in the Promotion City. You can just smash through the Promotion City and you can run out. Kuayin, Ling Fan is not very familiar with him. He only knows that he is so fast that he can play table tennis with himself, and he can rescue everyone in an explosion. If he can transform into Kuayin, he must be very strong. God bless you. Don't let me transform into a widow. Perhaps Ling Fan's prayer was fulfilled, and a voice came from the divine plan, "Congratulations to the host. This time, I randomly drew Kuayan. It is recommended that you transform into Quicksilver for the first time, and do not stack it, otherwise you may not be familiar with the abilities of this hero." Sacred Plan suggested. In this case, then I will only transform into Kuayan. Let me feel how powerful Kuayan is. Okay, activate the super changing form. Ling Fan yelled at the divine plan, "Transform into Kuayan." The 5 rays of light, exactly the same as before, immediately wrapped Ling Fan's limbs and head. Immediately afterwards, the light disappeared, and Ling Fan found himself wearing a blue tights, which was slightly lighter in color than Captain America's. "What's the situation? Why did you change a suit of clothes out of thin air?" The surrounding gray disappeared, and the time frame also disappeared naturally. At this time, Ling Fan had transformed into Kuayan. The Red Earl and the surrounding pirates all looked surprised when they saw that they had transformed into Ling Fan. "Don't forget what you promised me, I can fight with you next." Ling Fan was ready. "Take my sword." Although the Red Earl reminded him, his body had already come to Ling Fan's side in an instant, and the umbrella sword in his hand poked towards Ling Fan. "After changing clothes, there is no shield. Let's see how you deal with it," the Red Earl thought. Then Ling Fan disappeared with a sound of "Sue," and the Red Earl was taken aback. He raised his head and found that Ling Fan was already sitting on the recliner, wearing sunglasses, eating apples, reading newspapers and basking in the sun. "What's the situation? There was nothing here just now." The Red Earl was also very puzzled. "Of course," Ling Fan said, "I just brought it up." "Fart, how could you be so fast? And why do you have apples?" the Red Earl also asked in surprise. "Is the apple found in the cabin galley, or the deck chair?" "It's in the storeroom. As for the newspaper, it should be found on a wooden box on the back deck. Who knows that the Navy bought it, and the sunglasses were found in the crew's dormitory." Ling Fan also answered in great detail.